take your top lip and connect it to your bottom lip, you will shut the fuck up. Sometimes shutting the fuck up is the best thing you can do.
What's going on, everybody? This is Ty, and I'm happy everybody could be here. Let me get these slides pulled up real quick. So we want to make sure that we thank last week's guest, Robert Rocha with the So Spoken Gooder Show. That was fun to have him on and talk about everything in Texas barbecue, national barbecue. He is out at the San Antonio Livestock and Rodeo Show this week, cooking it up out there. I want to make sure that I mention one of our previous guests going to be on Saturday, May 30th. It's going to be out doing some bodybuilding. That's Hunter Moore. His father, Glenn Moore, was my garrison commander at Fort Polk. So I want to make sure we talk about that. And then, as always, check out Becky Joe Art and check out this this is Odin here. I just saw this the other day. We put that on there. Really appreciate you, Becky. And as always, you can go hit up Same Flag, Same Oath. That's the best way to support the podcast. Go over there and buy some gear from a better-known business. Let's get right into it today. I'm going to hit it over to Matt real quick, and let's see what he's got going on.
Well, Thursday. So what I got going on is the Triple Threat Bet Podcast. Hello to everybody out there. We appreciate you joining. Carlos, how does it feel to not have to drive forever to go to a cook-off? Because I see you're at San Antonio Rodeo. Good luck this weekend, brother. Welcome to everybody. Can't wait to talk to our guest today. And don't worry, I'll talk to the artist I know and see if she'll even offer a print of the Odin painting. So maybe you could get a high quality print of that thing and hang it up in your house. So we'll see. But with that, I think he's here today, guys. The hero's here.
Hey, nothing to report, nothing new. Excited to be here for Thursday. Let's get right into it, Ty. No sense in holding off. Let's go.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So before we get started, in the when we do the preview, I normally talk about all the organizations that work with us and have supported us since the beginning. But today, I want to talk a little bit with Kyle Shudik, the executive director of the Project Zero Alliance, and they've got all kinds of adventure therapy going on. So let's bring him on real quick to talk about what's going on with Project Zero.
Hey, what's up?
Boom.
What's up, man?
All right.
Kyle is in the building.
Hey, I'm here. Look, guess number two.
What is that your garage that you're in? Or is
No. It's my office.
That thing looks like a freaking. You got the whiteboard in there. Your mission plan in. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, I am actually. Like that's all.
Your shit looks legit. Like you have like stuff written down. Like I don't have nothing in my office.
I actually got a plan. Like I kind of know what I'm doing. I don't know.
His awesome. Kids go in there and write stupid phrases, and he leaves it on the board to make it look like he's got a lot going on.
Yeah, that's from like 2021. I don't know if you know that. It's written in crayon.
Written in crayon. Marine it down. That's all you got to do.
No, that's actually a new whiteboard. Like it's magnetic now, so I can like stick stuff.
Fancy.
Wow.
So, got kids drawings up there. I look at like they're like, oh, let me take it over.
Nice.
But yeah, we've been doing some mission planning for this year. We were really busy at the end of last year, and then get to the holidays, and we don't do anything because we're just doing what we do with our families. And then so we're kind of jumping on for this year, and this year is going to be a lot more full than last year. So we're really excited about that and just kind of the direction that we're going with.
So real quick, Kyle, before we jump into what you guys got planned for 2026.
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty cool if you could talk to our fan base and our listeners about the big adventure that your team went on last year towards the end of the year.
So last year we set out to do one of the biggest things that the organization has ever done. We sent 7 veterans and 1 first responder to Africa to go hike Mount Kilimanjaro. And so we did that with a summit date of September 11th, 2025. So our team went there. They climbed the Machame route, and they summited 19,341 feet. I don't know, you did the shirt. 19,341 feet on September 11th. It was the coolest thing we've ever done. We threw everything we had at it. I mean, they're hours ahead, so I'm trying to keep up with them, doing what I can do from right here in the office. So I'm getting updates from the hiking team, the guide service, Peak Planet. They were amazing, and yeah, it's just the biggest adventure that we've gone on, and we wanted to do something that we've never done. We just wanted to challenge ourselves. So could we pull it off? Number one, and we did, and being able to see the people that came home from that, and the just having that experience and pushing themselves to training for that. People that hadn't hiked in years. There was a couple studs in there that said, "Hey, this is like one of the hardest things I've done." And I mean, they were kind of athletic from the get go. And then you had guys that in their 40s, 50s that were hiking up there that just left their pack back when they were in the service in their 20s and 30s and said, "You know what, this is something I'm going to do." And so we did that, and it's really kind of reignited something that we had started out with, or we were collaborated at the time with other orgs with, is just getting out and even doing more hiking, whether that's state parks, whether that's getting into some of the national parks and some of the awesome scenery that we get into on vehicles and fishing, is doing that on 2 feet. I mean, I don't necessarily have any use for it anymore, but a few miles doesn't ever hurt anybody. And it's another way to build community, another way to build your mental health. It's another way to really get out and explore what we have to offer just here in our country. And so that's something we're really going to be leaning into this next year. And we actually have an event going on this next month where we'll have a hiking team along with our vehicle-based team out in Big Bend. And yeah, it's led to a lot. It was super. I can't tell you just like how much you're like, oh, we used to do all this small shit. And we said, okay, we're going to send it on this just one monumental, expensive thing too. I mean, it's not cheap. We had to fundraise, they had to fundraise, and we did it.
Yeah, I mean, you were doing, you had guys on the team hiking to Kilimanjaro at the same time that we were out there playing golf. So, you were juggling multiple events at one time, and it was pretty cool, man. Like, I'm glad those guys went and did it. Looking at the pictures and seeing everything they did, it was cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's something that I think we're going to push for. This year's a little too close for planning. I mean, everybody was wiped, dude. Everybody was just wiped from it. And I get it. You got to come home and reset. And they did. They came home and kind of got their bearings when they came home. But when you want to reignite that, it was just a heavy lift for the organization. So we looked at doing later this year, maybe doing something that was a little bit more challenging. However, seasons for hiking just depends on what you want to go to. They're hard to do. So we're going to look at as reigniting something just as challenging in 2027. So it'll be Kilimanjaro. I don't know.
I'll go to Big Bend with you guys, bro. Yeah. As long as you put me up in one of those dope ass cave hotel rooms.
Oh yeah. Well, they don't have those in the park. You got to stay in Presidio or Tarlingua or something like that. So
okay. Well,
we got tents. Just saying. Thanks to Gazelle, by the way. One of our. Yeah. So nice. Yeah, man. Nice.
So we have the slide there. You can hit the QR code to go to projectzero.com and check out everything they're doing with Adventure Therapy the 19th through the 22nd of February. I've heard so many stories of what goes on, but like share with us the sentiment of like some of the camaraderie and everything that goes on during the your Big Bend Adventure Therapy, and then the surf or shark fishing that you do Adventure Therapy as well.
Yeah, so we built around this how we've kind of defined the model. We call it Adventure, Connect, Recover, and the adventure leads to the connection, right? So we build community in just shared activity, right? So like kind of bonds we formed in service that now we don't have, and we can take people out into an adventure. If that's shark fishing, if that's overland, if it's hiking, wherever it takes us, and we can build a connection and shared community around that, and that builds to recovery and what your definition of that is, whether that's wellness, whether it's sobriety, whether that's mental health. But those lead into that because now you're building, shared experience to build community to get to that point. And a lot of the sentiment we get is just, people have been able to fall back into a community that they can trust, that they don't always feel connected on the outside when they get out. And that's fine. So if we can bring some avenue for them to feel that connection again with other people who they can build trust on. And there's nothing like building trust like when you're on the side of a mountain or you're changing out a blown out bead on the side. Well, I don't know if I had the shot of that, but we were on this gnarly trail and we had a Jeep blow a bead, and there's like 4 of us out there, we didn't have any way to reseal it because we didn't have torches, putting ratchet straps on it. Just people going to work, right? Or pulling in a shark on a leader. So we got a team of vets out there doing that. Like our last tournament, we were fishing. So we fish a tournament or 2 every year. A group that had never worked together, and to watch them pull it in, to catch, to pull, to release, to dehook, get some happy snaps right in there, right? Get some good action shots, and just watch the high fives among a group of people who
see you, buddy.
Know each other, and
Yeah.
I'll be going. I'll leave it in the morning.
That's what it really builds on. It builds on that. And when the feedback that we get is that I haven't felt something like that in a long time, or that's something that I want to keep on feeling. Now we've built something where they're start to build some forward momentum. And that's honestly, that's what we get out of it, and the second part is just them building towards, asking for different resources and asking for different connections, and starting to, build that trust with other people who maybe sat where they're sitting, depending where they're at. Somebody who could be struggling with whatever, well, mental health is kind of like 70-80% of our clientele. So now we can maybe open the door to the conversation of who and where you can go. So yeah, man, it's been amazing just to watch that bloom over the past, I think we've been doing this for 6 years. I just did when I was doing our planning.
I still remember the first time that Robert Salmons put me in touch with you. He's like, I think you should meet this guy. And I remember, pulling over to the side of the road, sitting in a Taco Bell parking lot for probably about 2 hours as you gave me the broad overview of what Project Zero was going to be. And then lo and behold, I think we've known each other for about 6 years, I guess, or more. The social media, the interactions, the way people are talking about this, I have firsthand experience or secondhand experience with one of our golf sponsors and Quesco. I just love what you do for your sponsors. I love the reciprocation of all the people that are volunteering and working. So like you said, he called me, guys, Kyle called me the other day. He's like, what are you up to? And I was like, I'm not just sitting around. He's like, well, fucking get outside.
Hiking sounds horrible. I'm with you. I'm not doing no more ruck marches, no more walking. I watched.
So what's great, Al? I'll tell you this. So Kilimanjaro, they had like a team of porters that were carrying their shit. So they had like a 30 liter bag, and then that carried the food and everything else. So it's still challenging. It's 19,000 feet. You're going from like 4 to 15,000.
I just watched the movie The Longest Walk. I'm good. I'm good.
A lot of times what we do vehicle-based stuff. We'll just get out, find a little spot and go venture off for a little while. I do love my Jeep. Don't get me wrong. I will. That's what I'm known for. But there's just some amazing things that we're doing. And I'll touch on one more thing too. You put up the slide for the saltwater fishing or shark fishing. So last year we were notified in October 2025 that we were awarded what's called the VA Adaptive Sports Grant. What's amazing about that program, it's a smaller pot of money, but it filters out to organizations like ours that are able to take either active military or veterans and provide them with an adaptive activity. And so we're hosting 8 surf fishing events under that grant. Right. So that's VA, the VA that we talk about in different formats, actually looking at recreational type therapies and sponsoring it essentially for organizations like us for veterans in our area, which I think is amazing. So, we're doing that. Plus we're doing 6 charter fishing. We've never done charter before. So it allowed us to kind of open up to this new avenue where you can come out and learn, or with our group, we've got a core group of anglers, all guys that have been out with us before. They're now on the team, the fishing team for Project Zero. That's Garrett and Casey and Jason, Trace, Jeremiah, the guys that come out and serve all the time. And now you get to learn like how we do what we do. So it's something that you can get into. And that's all supported by VA.
That's the cool part though. I'll tell you what, Kyle, a lot of guys that, get out veteran, it sounds awesome to open a nonprofit. You know what I mean? Like we're going to help, we're going to do good. It's going to be better. And I don't think a lot of people realize honestly the work that goes into doing that. When you say something's nonprofit, that means there is no profit. You got to raise all the money, and all the money's got to be spent on what you're doing. And so I just want to commend you guys at Project Zero, man. You guys are still going strong. You guys are building and getting bigger every year. And if you look around at how things are going, just in general, there's a lot of these organizations that aren't staying open. They can't continue to operate because they're not getting the support that they need. And I think a lot of that has to do with, once you get into that arena and you figure out how much work it's going to be, that's where you guys are, a bit different. I think the biggest key is a whole bunch of guys that come out and do shark fishing, or they go out and do the overlanding. That's I can't emphasize enough. You're going to grab your volunteer base of people that believe in what you're doing after they come out one or two times. And that's the biggest thing. Anybody that goes out with you guys sings that praise. And so I'm proud to see that you guys are growing and moving.
Yeah, I appreciate it. They say overnight success takes about 5 years or more.
Yeah.
So I think we're at year 6 and we're about to hit our stride. So I'll tell you this is, we talked about it. Some of the board members, we were talking on and off as we're making plans. Is the thing that we've aimed at is it's not a hobby to us or a club. It's professionalizing an organization that actually provides a service. And I think that's, if you start to treat it, I've talked about this on your podcast early on, and a couple others, is like it's a business that serves a population we care about, and we don't have a product. Our product is what we provide. So we have to sell that to somebody else, like our sponsors. Hey, you are building this community. We have to sell that to the grantors, and it's a lot of effort and work to make sure everything. Like, I'm about to submit my one of my quarter reports tonight. It's due tomorrow for our grant. And I mean, that's gonna be another late night of just crunching numbers. And it takes what it takes. And we didn't bite off more than we can chew. It's just one step at a time, just growing systematically year over year, to the point where it's a sustainable organization that provides what we believe is an amazing service, just outside of just going out and hunting. And there's nothing wrong with that, but the way that we're building upon the peer support that is going to be embedded in the organization, that's another thing we'll touch on another podcast. But yeah, man. So we got a lot going on. You can follow the QR codes. If that QR code is right, that goes right to the events calendar. If it's not, I'll give you the updated one. And we update that as it comes in. So you'll see a few events that are on there, plus all the shore fishing dates that are on there. And as we kind of get our volunteers, again, all of our volunteers come from past participants. So as we get their availability for the things that we want to do, it'll be added on there. It's just waiting on their dates to clear. We got events that we're going to do. I just don't want to post them yet because I hate to be determined, like I do this. Yeah. So
we just do that. Just throw that up there again. What you just had up there, Ty, so you guys have a new, you're into the tournament fishing, shark fishing. You got these new fishing shirts that are coming out.
Yeah.
Get the QR code. You can go pre-order them. They're SPF, right? Or UPF.
Yeah, they're gonna be UPF.
Get sunburnt wearing it.
Yeah.
But you actually have to wear the shirt, right? Wear it the right way. But
you have to actually put it on for it to work. Otherwise,
yeah. Go check those out, man. And then just for anybody that's out there, right? Just keep on the lookout. Like coming up September. I know we're in January, but in September, golf tournament is coming for Project Zero. So for all of you people out there listening that have money to spend in your budgets, go ahead and earmark some of that money to support a golf tournament that we can get a whole bunch of people out to raise some money. And then just keep them on your radar, man. These guys do great work and they get better every year. And I think it's because, like you just said, Kyle, you guys don't go for the $1 billion idea all the time. You guys started with a whole bunch of $10 ideas. And I think that's why it's grown the way that it did.
Yeah. You just plant a bunch of seeds and what starts to grow grows. And now we've really refined it. I mean, that's how we jumped in and we have the adventure therapy program. It is literally the program that we have. And embedded in that, we used to have like the mental health and the fitness. It's all embedded into one. And now we just support that program with a little bunch of like little add-ons, right? So if you still want mental health counseling, it's in there, but it's available through that conduit, right? So we still have it. It's just on in there. We're going to have peer specialists here soon. I mean, Ty and I were just talking about that the other day, that are going to support what we do. And they're guys just like us that are out there supporting the event, but if you need it, it's available. So yeah, man, just planting little stuff and shit. Ty, actually, we were talking about that like 6 years ago. Like we were talking about the peer thing. I think it was 6 years ago. Right here.
Yeah, but that's the key. It takes time for those things to happen, right? You've got you got to walk down that street. Everybody wants to run, man. Everybody wants to have their picture on the TV. Everybody wants to be doing the interviews and talking about all these things they're doing. But you guys have like kept your head down, and it's truly grassroots, man. You build it one block at a time, and that's the way to go for sure. That's the equal longevity.
There's two things that you said that, and I've said that in text messages or messages to the teams, like head down and do the work. That's it. And I'll tell that, because we'll look at somebody else who started something and they're trying to blow up really big, which is great. You get a lot of attention early on, but you just consistency over time. Like, we're already planned out for fishing for the year. I mean, and we started that last year, so we're head down, do the work, be consistent, do that. And the other thing that we do, and I keep a reminder like right here, and it just says, where's it at? Yeah. Just keep fucking hammering. I had to, just keep at it,
Bro, that's like a true military guy right there, bro. You found like some clip art and printed it out on a piece of paper.
Oh yeah,
like, that's how we roll.
Oh, the kids liked it, walls, but man. I had to like censor it,
Yeah.
And then I have my Michael Scott quoting Wayne Gretzky up next to it too. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So yeah, man. I mean, it's true. I appreciate the sentiment, brother. Like, I really do.
I always appreciate talking to you, on our pretty much weekly phone calls. I love what Project Zero is doing, and we've not even shown for the audience. We've not even shown what they do when they do the overlanding with the Jeeps, man. That's a whole culture unto itself. That next week, I think we used to run a commercial for you that had some of the Jeep stuff, but I'll copy some of your social media and we'll show the people next week. But everybody on here right now, I see y'all out there on YouTube. I see you on Facebook Live. I see you on our TikTok and our Instagram and our Twitch. What's up, Case and Cobb up there competing in Dallas with the Cobb World Championships and everything. But if you're watching this show right now, go and like the Project Zero on all the social medias. And if you're a veteran, check out what they got going on, because if you can get here, or if they can facilitate, making this stuff happen, this is some good therapy going on. Get out there. That's their call sign.
Hey, you, Al, by the way. I'm sorry. I've just thought about that while you're saying that. Like, we're trying to get a Florida shark fishing trip going on.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
See what I'm talking about?
Working
there
on
you go. Al Hero has a job now.
Yeah. I like the sound of that.
Could you imagine Al Hero as a tour guide?
I got connections in the fishing world down here, so we've
been talking about it for like 2 years. Like, so I think
could totally imagine Al as a tour guide on a fishing boat. That would be awesome.
On your motherfucking left.
We might do a scouting trip down there. Honestly, like, we've been talking about it for a couple years, and now we got the new trailer that's coming out. So we might be able to pack all our shit and head down.
Man, all I keep hearing is soon to be live podcast from overlanding, where we get to watch Jeeps do crazy shit. Live podcasts from shark fishing.
I'll bring my truck, so when one of those baby Jeeps gets stuck, I can pull it out.
The TTV
I can't wait to
as your truck is the one that's going to get stuck. It's going to be embarrassing.
Anyway, there's lots of good stuff going on, ladies and gentlemen. The executive director of the Project Zero, Kyle Shudick. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You guys have a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. So that went longer than I thought. I hate having our guest in the green room so long, but it's always good to catch up with Kyle Shudick.
Hey, Bob Mayer, parade, rest. Shut your ass up.
Popeye Al.
Parade rest, motherfucker. Little
haters, bro. Haters. All right. Well, that being said, went a little long. So now what we need to do is get Al, instead of doing a rant, he gets to do an intro.
Yeah. So super excited to have BETH HARRIS on the show. So for everybody watching, this woman played a very integral part in me growing up, graduating high school, becoming a military member, joining the service, just really played a huge role in my life. She was one of my high school teachers who really embodied what you want a teacher to embody. She was tough as nails. She was hard on you. She stayed on your ass, but she loved unconditionally. She cared, and she just kept me on the right track. Right. Cause for just sake of the story, I lived in Columbus, Georgia, and went to high school in Columbus. My parents moved out to Harris County, Georgia. I got in some legal trouble. Couldn't go back to school in Muskogee County, Columbus, Georgia, and ended up having to go and finish. I left home, stole a car, left home, did a bunch of crazy stuff. Ended up moving back to Jacksonville for a little bit. Couldn't make it. Figured out I wanted to come home. My mom said the stipulation was had to go back to high school. So I came home, went back to complete my senior year of high school, and that's where I met Miss Harris. She was the graphic designer teacher, and I had her for 2 periods out of the day. and like I said, she stayed on top of me, man. She really cared enough about me to invest time and effort and energy. She had 1,000 other kids, but she really spent time and like I said, invested and spent energy to help me carve out my path, really figure out what I wanted to be and who I wanted to become, and help me grow into the man I am today. So I am eternally grateful, excited to have her on the show. Not only was she an educator for many, many moons, and she went into the political side of the world and got involved in politics. But a big part of, I think, that we'll touch on today is the fact that she is the spouse of a Vietnam veteran who has a pretty amazing story. She's a caregiver for a veteran, which I don't think, to Ty, I think you mentioned it. I don't think we've ever had anybody on, a spouse of a veteran, to hear that, to get that perspective. And then when you're talking about the Vietnam era veteran, I mean, those were boys who were dropped into combat, who grew into men very, very fast. And I think our veteran community, especially when it comes to the Vietnam era, they're sometimes overshadowed and overlooked by the new combat veteran, right? The Thai, Cobbs, and the Iraqi and Afghanistan veterans. But I definitely want to hear her story and hear his story and kind of mesh it all together. So without further ado, Ty, let's bring our guest on.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Beth Harris.
They're sometimes overshadowed and overlooked by the new combat veteran, right? The Thai, Beth, can you hear us? And the Iraqi and Afghanistan. Beth, can you hear us? But I definitely want to hear her story and hear his story. We'll drop her down.
Lag.
Without further ado, Tyler, let's bring our guest on.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Beth Harris.
Hello.
Can you hear us, Beth? You can't. Drop her down.
I cannot hear you on your broadcast, but I put a little phone next to me.
That's not going to
and
work.
got it on Facebook. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
We got about a 15-second lag.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I only can hear you on another phone. I cannot hear you on your broadcast, but
So let's drop it down. Al, if you want to try and call her and get it figured out, we can wrap it up real quick and we'll see what we can do.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I got something we can talk about though that we didn't really go into it at the beginning because I wanted to get into the show, but since we don't have it, I'll go ahead and do the Blue Falcon of the week. It's a bit of a strange one here. So I think our minds are playing tricks on us. I think a lot of the neural synapses and the neural pathways that have been forged because of social media have made us start reacting to things pretty crazily. And, we've talked about this on the show, but one of our previous guests, Vincent Rocco Vargas, actually had it was on his Substack, A Nation Divided by Words and the Cost of Inaccuracy. And I would implore you to go find this. I'll put the link in the chat, but just go to his social media, Vincent Rocco Vargas, or, Google A Nation Divided by Words, the Cost of Inaccuracy. The points he makes about we rise to the level of our training, and we have been trained to absolutely make the most polarizing statements just in order to get any type of, weight behind the algorithm to make you, go viral and things like this. So the paper that Rocco writes these are just some of the bullet points that I took out, but I implore you, if you're a veteran and you get triggered by things like I do, where I have an insatiable need to consume news and information, and I process things in my brain. And if you're not out there doing things with the Project Zero, it can really, fuck with your day. So I implore you, if you're like me, go read this paper. It'll make you realize that a lot of the things that you're seeing are just like Al says on his social media. We talk with Jovan Mosby and R.L. Semez about a lot of these social issues that are going on, but go read this paper by Rocco Vargas. Protest slogans harden into identity, counter slogans harden into resistance. Soon, every issue becomes a loyalty test instead of a search for truth. This is an excerpt from his paper. We can accept that wearing a badge carries responsibility, and when that responsibility is violated, the system must respond with seriousness and transparency. but we do not need to accept the all or nothing mentality that destroys intelligent discourse. So he says it all right here. Like, this paper is amazing. It'll really calm you down if you get into the news. I know Bob watches the news and reports things to me. Like, we call him CIA Bob for a reason. He consumes news and shit in your head. There's so much in there that it can really make you start thinking crazy things. And that's the other reason why, people ask all the time, hey, how many follows you got? What do you got with this? I am, at this point, because of Scott Blake leaving this show, I am a social media Jedi. There's none of this stuff that can fucking harm me any longer, because it used to really bother me. You guys know how worked up I get over, social issues and anything that would do justice to a person. I definitely want to reconcile that. So if you're out there and you're like Ty Cobb, the news may get you a little excited sometimes. Google A Nation Divided by Words, The Cost of Inaccuracy, by one of our previous guests. I think he was episode like 89 or something.
Long time ago.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been on the show a couple of times. This guy was a Army Ranger. He was Border Patrol. His experience and perspective comes from being with BORTAC and BORSTAR, which is essentially the people that go out and find people, serve warrants, kind of like the SWAT team of the Border Patrol. And then the BORSTAR was where they were like basically combat saving medics that would go out and interdict and find sign and track people, and then be able to take care of them. I think he was one of those guys. And not only that, the words and perspective he gives veterans like us that were career veterans that aren't special ops, and there's a lot of hate going on with the special ops community over who did this, who shot this person, who didn't shoot that person. But this is just like a almost like a fucking promise to our loyal listeners, however many we have per month. We are never going to be that crazy of a show. We will always try to be pretty conservative, and outlandish statements and things that people say, that's probably not going to be something that we're going to be known for. So I appreciate, Matt Johnson being a fucking oak of an emotional, post for me. And then, Al being kind of the further right leaning mentality that I have. But I see great things in these two individuals, and we're going to try and keep highlighting some really good stuff that we see from, our former guests, especially when they have good fucking ideas. So approximately 50% of U.S. adults watch television daily, while around 30% consume news through digital services. So you got all kinds of 150 million people watching television, but the digital news consumption is approximately 200 million adults access news daily online. So they're looking at their phones. So they're not paying attention to any of the nuance that goes on in the news, or the what, so what, which means, and therefore they jump to the, therefore we're going to abolish the police. No, that can never be the answer. We have to fund the police force, because the way that the populace is reacting, whether or not it's too tragic, two people got killed, and that's fucking tragic. But what's going on in this country is because of, there has to be a polarization. If you don't like somebody, they immediately have to get canceled. If you don't like the government, the Democrats are basically calling for rebellion, and the Republicans are putting the Republican down in ways that I've never heard people talk to people. So why is the political volume here? Okay, so all that stuff goes, and it's all that stuff I said to say this: be careful where you get your information, be careful who you're listening to, and go read this paper by Vincent Rocco Vargas. There's a lot of information in it, and I think it'd be good for you. Sorry it took so long. I don't do that normally.
Do your thing, bro. That's good. I like it. I like it
America.
a lot. America.
Yeah.
All right, I think Beth's back. Let's see if we can get her.
Yeah, let's do it.
Testing 1, 2.
3, 4.
And she wasn't even a math teacher. How about that?
Beth, I'm just going to tell you right now, everybody that listens to us right now, their mind has been blown, because we know Al Hero is the one that helped you with your technical difficulty. And I'm going to tell you right now, that never happens. He's always calling everybody else to try to figure out how to use this technology. So good job, Al.
Thank you, Albert.
I just told her to turn it off and turn it back on. That's the only thing I know.
Oh, you want Carlos Calzada on her? I got it.
I think that we're going to have a problem. I could call you Al and you could call me Beth, and we're going to keep going Albert and Ms. Harris.
It's hard. It is very hard. It
I
just
know.
feels weird coming out of my mouth to be like.
It does me too.
Beth.
I keep hearing them call you Al, and I'm like, that's his daddy.
That's my dad.
Ah, that's so funny.
It's facts. It's facts. I go by Albert. My wife calls me Albert, so it's all good.
I figured she did. Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, Beth, we first want to welcome you to the show. We're excited to have you on. Learn more about your story, learn more about your family, the things that you've been through, you've done, all of that. So what we like to do here is we like to give our guests the opportunity to help our audience get to know you a little bit better. So what we like to do is just start off with a brief summary of like, where are you from? Like, where is it that you call this is where I'm from? And what was it like for you growing up? Like, what kind of things did you do? Did you guys do fun things when you were growing up? Like, just give us a picture of how you grew up and where you're from.
I was born in a hospital right across the river in Phoenix City, but we lived a few houses down from Albert's family home. So lived in Columbus, born in Phoenix City, drove home after the hospital. And I can guarantee you the first Sunday after I was born, I was in church that morning, that night, the next Wednesday, and every subsequent Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night until I was 15. That was the beginning. I got so many things to say. I don't really know where to start. Went to St.
Wherever you
Mary's.
want. We have none but time.
We started at St. Mary's Elementary School when I was in about the third grade. My mother started crossing this. She was the crossing guard there. So I stayed in the library while she did that, and I learned to shelve books and break books in when they were new. And I was the girl who, I don't know, you guys are too young. Do you remember the cards getting stamped?
Card catalog.
Yeah.
Card catalog.
Yes, card catalog. The Dewey Decimal System. I was the librarian's assistant in the third grade. And I think I've helped in every school that I ever went to, which was Rothschild, then Daniel, and then Carver. And probably helped in the office too. But yeah, I was at church a lot. And I got a good, strong, deep-rooted faith, and a lot of spiritual guidance was built into me. So I try to live that life, although sometimes some people can make me angry and I can go off the road a little bit, but I get back.
As we all do. We all can go off the road. So growing up for you, library, church. So as you progressed on, when you were getting older, coming up on graduation from high school, where did you go? Did you go to college? Where did you go to college? How did you decide where to go to college, or how did you decide what your next step was going to be once it came to adulthood?
Well, in about the 10th grade, I realized that I could graduate early. I don't think they allow you to do that now, but I went to St. Mary's Elementary School, and then I went to Rothschild, and we used to call it middle school, but y'all call it junior high. So I went to Rothschild, and then all of a sudden, the government did something, and we had to go to Daniel. Of course, I lived on St. Mary's Road, and I went to North Highland to go to school. But that was okay because the guys there, the people there seemed to be a lot more down to earth than the ones that I was going to school with at Rothschild. And I really, really liked Daniel. And I met a lot of people that, we connected. So I assumed that when we got through with 8th grade, I'd go on to Jordan with them. No. I get to go to Carver. Okay. For those, Albert, should I explain the problem with Carver?
Oh, Carver's. That's where I went. I went to Carver, then to Harris County to graduate. So I'm a Tiger at heart too.
Yeah, both ways. Carver Tiger, Harris County Tiger.
That's right.
But the difference in the school when you went there and when your Aunt Debbie and I went there, it was a little different. There were riots after school and sometimes during school, and it was really bad. It was when they first started the busing, mandatory busing. And so I had decided we were afraid. We had to walk in groups after class to get to the next class. And so I decided I was going to take my 1.5 credits during the summer. So I found a little daycare job, and I raised, I saved the money and I paid for school. And when I finished school at age 16, um, I had to go to work. Mother wasn't offering to pay for school, and I don't know really the details of why I couldn't go to college right then. But without saying too much about my family, and I don't think you really want to hear some of that. Um, anyway, I went to high school, and then after high school, I tried to go. I tried to work and go to a business school because I was interested in office work and stuff like that. I was done with school. I didn't really want to go sit in a college, atmosphere at that time. So I didn't, and I couldn't make it. I got certificates and all, but I didn't really finish. I wanted to work. I wanted to, just make money and do something, live away from my mother. That was the main goal. And so I went to work at a daycare center, and then um, I managed to get a job at Diamond Elementary. You know where that is, Albert?
I do. I
Okay.
sure do.
Well, that was my first lesson in how the educational system works in Columbus, Georgia. They hired me at age 17 to be their assistant secretary, but all it was a ruse. They wanted to get a job created so they could spend the money they had budgeted for that year, so their budget money coming in wouldn't go down the next year. So they hired me temporarily as a assistant secretary, which was fine with me. But I mean, I was doing what I always had done in high school. I always worked in the office or the library, so it was fine. I got paid, and a sad story here though. I went there, and I ended up working with one of my former teachers at St. Mary's. She was my favorite teacher of all of St. Mary. Well, one of three favorite teachers at St. Mary's. She was my first grade teacher. She taught me to read, and reading is everything to me. And after at the end of that school year, I knew I couldn't come back because they didn't budget me for the next year to be assistant secretary. So I remember taking her picture when she was in her car as we were leaving the school that day. And a few months later, I got the news that she was the last one of the victims of our stocking strangler, and I was
I
broken.
remember that. Yeah,
That
the
was that was
tour,
that
yeah.
was that was my teacher, and that was one of my motivation. People. She didn't really. I guess she did because she taught me to read, and reading, like I said, is just about everything to me. And then after that, I mean, I got married. Um, my mother then, when she found out I was getting married, all of a sudden she was ready to pay for an apartment in Auburn and pay for my tuition and my books and everything. She
Funny
said,
how that works.
"It isn't that funny how that works." But when I graduated from high school, because I did it in the middle of the summer and I didn't have a cap and gown and a regular formal, graduation, I got a card, the kind of card you open and read and you say, "Oh, thank you," and in it had $10. That
Dang,
was graduation.
dang,
Nice. I
dang.
And
love it.
I graduated with honors. I had been inducted into the National Honor Society. And anytime I say these things, you guys wanted to know about me. I'm not trying to brag. I really am not. But I was a smart fella. I was very shy, believe it or not. And so I just pushed my way through that school, and then I got married and had to work. When you got a family, not a family, but you
Yeah.
got a partner and a rent and this and that, and you work. Well, um, finally, I after the Diamond Elementary School, I needed a job, so I went and applied it. Somebody told me to go to Blue Cross Blue Shield to work. And I don't know if you remember this, Albert, but in your classes, because I know I did it to every class. I told every student I could possibly tell, be good to your teachers, whether you like them or not. Be good to
Yep.
them, because who are they? They are your first job references. And
Correct.
so I went into the Blue Cross Blue Shield office for my interview with the personnel officer. And lo and behold, it turned out he was my 10th grade English teacher's husband. So I got the job. But she gave me a good reference because I treated her okay, and I was made good
Yeah.
grades. And now I'm
Well,
lost.
kids nowadays don't
Remember,
understand that.
Ty, I told you I might need to be put back on track. Here's one of those moments.
So you end up going to Auburn.
I no longer hear you.
So can you hear me?
I'm going to try the log out, log in thing
Oh
again.
no.
All righty. Dang, look at that dude. Working. So Albert, just so you know, everybody, Albert. I think that's so funny. They call you Albert. Everybody wants the dirt on you. So we need to get that dirt. It's gonna be good.
Just fast forward. We'll fast forward to when she started teaching in Harris County.
Well, now we gotta go one other place first, though.
Yeah, but I think I was muted before. I want to make sure and say, before we bring her back, she talked about, not wanting to hear about her. This is the enthralling part of this story that I think we're getting views based on it. Like, this is a story of hard work, Americanism. I mean, we've not even gotten to the point to where we're talking about the veteran spouse, the Vietnam era veteran spouse, his story, Mr. Larry Abels. That's going to be amazing to get to that. But yeah, let's bring her back real quick and see if. But yeah, I love how she's waxing poetic, man. She's telling her story.
Can you hear us now?
I told you I could, Ty.
Well, there you go. But so here's the thing. You made a comment that you were like, I'm not trying to brag, and I worked hard. Like, you need to brag about that, and it's okay to do that. Not you taking credit for the hard work that you put into things is not a brag. That's just it's what it is. Like, you should be proud of it, and it's like Ty said, it's interesting to hear. It's who you are, it's where you came from, and that's what we like to showcase, right? You had to go through a whole bunch of things in life before you get to the moment that you're at now, or those moments that change everything, or you've got to make decisions on. There's a lot of stuff that builds to that, and so Al was asking, did you go to Auburn?
No. I got married.
You turned down the free apartment. There you go.
All she would have done is set it up and got me going, and then stop paying, and I would have struggled and had to go to work anyway. My mother's gone, and I told her this, and she knows it, and it's no big secret in my family. She just people will hate me if I start talking about my mother, because they will hate me.
Right.
Well, we'll leave that where we'll leave that where it be.
Read the book.
Yeah, here's the question.
Watch Mommy Dearest.
Yeah. You
no wire hangers ever.
I know. You talked about so right when you were getting married is when your mom was talking about you going to Auburn. So talk a little bit about that. Like, before you got married, obviously you had to meet the gentleman. So how did you guys meet? Like, what was that like? Like, how did all that happen?
Now, this is not Larry. You understand that?
I do now.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
I do
Albert, now. Albert, did you think he was my only husband?
No, I think I think you would. I knew you were married previously.
Okay. Well, is your Aunt Debbie watching?
No, probably not. I don't know.
Will later, she will later.
Ma'am, the world is watching. Tell your story.
Yeah, I don't care about the world. I'm not worried about the world. Never mind. I can edit. Okay. I just met. Okay. It kind of leads into meeting Larry too.
So you met a guy.
Oh, I met a guy. Yes. Okay. And he was probably the first guy that ever just made me laugh, just made me feel like he liked me for me. I mean, I had been I can go into one of these sappy stories about the man across the street and my uncle's best friend and all the things that Me Too organizations whine about. And I could do that. I could do that. But that's another story. And see, it goes so long. We'll never get to Larry if I keep telling y'all about mine because you'd probably really like these stories. I am a walking soap opera.
That's
So
okay.
anyway,
We do a podcast every week. Good news is we bring people back on and we can tell those stories another time if you want to.
Yep.
they don't relate to these stories don't relate to veterans.
It don't matter. They're cool stories. You got to tell all the stories in the world. If you don't tell all the stories in the world, when these people and all of those people are gone, nobody's there to tell them again. So you got to tell them now so that they're out there so people can see them forever. So we'll bring you back for it for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
So did you end up going to school?
Not at that time. I didn't go back to school until after my children were born.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. I worked. What happened is when I went to Blue Cross Blue Shield, I started there at, again, part time. We're going to hire you part time, temporary. And we've got these thousands and millions of calendars for Blue Cross that need to be collated. Albert, what's collating? You know that, right? You know what
I do.
collating is.
I know what it means.
Some people don't.
I know how many. I still know there's 12. Was it 12 inches in
Hey!
one pica?
You
I
get
remember
Dude,
that. I remember that.
I don't think
Okay.
that Beth understands yet, but you're about to have to teach me some stuff. You know what I mean? I have a piece of paper on the wall that says I should know everything that you just said, but
Yeah, Matt's got a degree in graphic design.
Do you really?
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you? Who did? Oh, wait, I got two things on my mind. I don't know which way to go. Albert, where's graphic arts?
Where?
Where is graphic arts? First question you ever got in my class.
I don't remember now. See,
Uh-oh.
it's everywhere. That's what I know.
There you go. That's it. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Okay, you got another A. Matt,
Okay.
where did you take graphic art classes or whatever you take?
Southern New Hampshire University.
Awesome. Well,
I
see
went
what
to that
happened.
online school, you know what I'm saying? It was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I can quiz you too. I'll be glad to quiz you.
I'd rather not.
But
But
the thing
you know,
is, what a lot of people don't realize is that before computers and before PCs and printers and daisy wheels and all that stuff, you didn't go to school to learn to work in a newspaper building. You didn't go to school to work in a print shop. You were an apprentice. There was no school.
yeah.
You didn't get a degree. You went and you learned from the people who already learned. That learned from their daddy or
Yeah, it was a trade back then, right? It's a
right.
trade. You have
And
to learn the trade and you got to be
from
mentored into it and someone
Right.
teaches you. Yeah.
right from Benjamin Franklin. You think he learned graphic design at some college? No, he just started printing. But anyway, so I didn't really need, once I got into the graphic design, what happened was when I went to Blue Cross Blue Shield and they hired me to put these calendars together. Well, when these calendars were finished, our job was over. They hired four, teenagers my age. One was a young man who would rather go upstairs and hobnob because he knew most of the people there. Is probably how he got the job. And he turned out to be, and we were good friends until he moved. He turned out to be the sheriff of Muskogee County after Sheriff Hodge retired. So it was interesting, and he was a nice guy, and I liked him, but he didn't work, and he was always upstairs. Then there was another girl who was going to college. I wasn't. I could work full time. I didn't have classes, so she was when she was there. She was laughing and giddy, and I was still kind of shy, and she's just silly and she didn't work hard. I got in there and I hustled. I mean, you remember that, Albert? When you got a
Oh,
job to do, you get it done. You don't
that's
hang
right.
around. Yeah, okay. So I was in there doing the best I could, the fastest I could. I was there every day. I didn't leave at 12 o'clock like we were supposed to because it was only half a day because they didn't do their job. There were three other people hired with me and none of them were working hard enough to get maybe 100 calendars out a day. So the people there, they like that. And so I got more hours. Can you stay the rest of the? Sure, I can stay the rest of the day. And then after the calendar, when I saw that last pallet of calendars, I kind of got, you know, I was like, oh gosh, I'm fixing to have to look for a job, and I don't think I'm going to like it as much as I do this one. But lo and behold, the guy that ran the bindery said, we got all this to do, and you're a good worker. And he talked to the manager, and they kept me, put me on full time all day. And I was well, I'll say it, I was proud. I was happy.
Yeah.
And so then after we got all the calendars done, and we got caught up in the bindery, and it was kind of slow, but the typesetting section of the print shop was overwhelmed. And so one day the supervisor came to me and said, hey, Beth, can you type? And that's a good story too. I love my how I learned to type story. But he said, can you type? And I said, I sure can. So he took me over to the art department, and I got to sit down at the most amazing machine I'd ever seen, and I fell in love. It wasn't a strike-on, typewriter. Do you remember those IBM electric typewriters, the big, long? Okay, well,
Yeah.
this was that brand, but it had so many more bells and whistles. I was writing code before anybody knew what writing code was. We had to tell each section of type what to do. You put your little less than and equal than sign and brackets around certain words to tell that string of type to be bold, or that string of type to be 12 point, or that string of type, whatever. We were doing that. So it was still strike on. It wasn't, it was just strike on like a typewriter. So we would type it and we would save it, and then we'd sit back and watch it retype it, because we could go in and make changes. It was the first time you could ever save anything and edit it. So I loved that. And then they kind of tried to teach me to do paste up, which wasn't as fascinating. But anyway, then remember I told you I got married? Well, that kind
Let
of.
me guess. It didn't work
Yeah.
out.
Well, it worked out in the long run for 10 years, but it caused me some problems at work, because he didn't know that he wasn't supposed to bother me while I was at work. So he kind of he got me so stressed out. It was ended. Blue Cross gone. So between Blue Cross, I forgot about this. I did tell you that I worked at a daycare to get myself through.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
okay, never mind that. So after the Blue Cross Blue Shield, later on, I started working for the Georgia Printing Company. It was a small mom and pop shop, and I learned so much. By then, typesetting had become a big fancy machine that you actually put a roll of photographical film in the machine, and instead of striking on when you typed, you didn't strike on ink on the paper. What you were doing is each letter took a photograph of what you were doing on that photographic paper, and it had some memory, I think maybe a line or two, and you could edit and you could set the margins, and it was awesome. I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. And so then you take the roll of paper and you put it in a processing machine, and it comes out. Then you cut it up and put wax on it and put it on the board. It's not like you take this block of type on the computer and this block of type, you had to cut it and paste it on the paper. We used to do the wrestling programs. Y'all remember wrestling? I keep forgetting all of
Hey,
them.
you're speaking Ty's language. He loves some wrestling.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tommy was back when Tommy Rich and Doodle the
All
Butcher.
about Tommy Rich.
Oh yes. Oh, I had all the photographs. I had all the bulletins. We did the wrestling programs for every match from Macon to Columbus, and it was a big thing here. Fred Ward Promotions, and well, I did that. That usually fascinates people. And eventually, we got so
So
busy.
hold on.
Okay.
I got a question, if I
Okay.
can, about the wrestling stuff. So you're telling me, you did Wildfire Tommy Rich. That was probably the Florida wrestling or something like that.
No, he came to Columbus.
It was in
Everywhere.
Columbus. So
He was in Columbus. We only
did you
did the
do any of
Columbus
the,
program. Huh?
did you do any of the the classic Dusty Rhodes, Harley
Dusty
Race,
Rhodes, yes.
Ric Flair?
Ric
Whoa.
Flair, yes.
That's some cool shit,
The
man.
Oates. What are the Oates brothers?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like
met them all. I met them all.
Yeah.
I got to, hang with them. They
Yeah.
wanted me to come watch them, but I didn't care anything about it. But my grandmother was the big wrestling fan. So
I've got another podcast you might want to go on to tell your story, because here's what I'll tell you is like this is a veteran centric show. We brought you on, to tell the story of you and Al. So we've not even really gotten to that part yet, but just the way you tell your story, like you've worked so hard, and you can feel how much you care about the stuff you do. And this is an American dream right here. Working your ass as hard as you can.
It don't feel like it right now.
Yeah. Always learning, and then having to deal with Albert. So we'll get there, but keep going.
Yeah. We'll get there. He may be surprised at what I have discovered.
Yeah, everybody wants to hear the dirt. We keep hearing in the comments.
This is not dirt. There's not as much dirt as people want to put on this child.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe okay. There is a lot of dirt. It's just put in piles in a whole bunch of different places. You just got to go find it. You know what I mean?
Well, I wasn't looking.
Well, it's funny
I had too many other piles I was stepping in.
When you were talking about, it's funny because you mentioned like the house that my family grew up in. That's the house when we left Jacksonville, we moved back in that house. I was driving from Buena Vista Road on the south end of Columbus to Harris County every day to go to school.
I was driving from Phoenix City to Harris County to teach 1 million children a day, with my kids going to Carver Middle School and Park Elementary.
Yeah,
that was a time, but I loved it. I loved teaching. It was hard to get there. It was a long day, and then when we had a game, and I had to sell tickets or monitor, or we had a faculty meeting. Have you ever talked to do you know a teacher? Talk to them about faculty meetings.
I heard it's like the highlight of the day.
It is, boy. I tell you what, I wish I didn't have to get paid for it. I was wanting to do it for free, and they wouldn't let me.
I got one more question. So
all right,
before Matt Johnson gets us back on track with the actual where you met the veteran and Al in high school, I want to ask you one more thing about your no, you know what? Go ahead, Matt. I'll reform that question.
Now you've got my interest up, Ty.
That's what he does. It'll come later, I promise. Probably in the form of a question.
I mean, okay, I don't want you to have to
write it down.
No, I'll go ahead and say
forget.
We don't. No, I won't. We don't have to go into a big diatribe about it. But your stories of interaction with the faculty, things you're involved in, the apprenticeship into just building a real solid career through hard work. Like, what are some of those things that go on in the faculty rooms now versus the more of a, I don't know, it was more of a teaching. It seemed like you were able to teach. What goes on now in schools in the faculty meeting?
I don't know that it's any different. I think faculty meetings in general have always been hard on teachers, but the more they create these fabulous ideas and these programs that they take tons of time telling us about and training us for, and then they don't ever come to fruition, or they last 6 months or a year, and then you got to start a new one. So that's the kind of thing that's frustrating about faculty meetings. But right now, I've not been. What year was that, Albert? You graduated in 2002?
No, I graduated in 2000. I was supposed to graduate in like 98. I got 2000.
Yeah, that year that you came back for my hearing, what was that? It was 03, 02. I had the heart attack.
I was in the military at the time. It was 2002.
What year was Brett in freshman year? Anyway.
It would have been 02 or 03.
Okay, so that was 20-something years ago. So I have no clue what goes on faculty meetings now. It may be worse. They might not have them. I don't know. But I still hear teachers say things that, I really wish I did know. But it's just a lot of the administrators talking BS, and they're either chewing you out for something you didn't do, or one person did, but they're too scared to go confront that one person. So they, you know how it is when
they blanket everybody.
Mandatory fun.
Yeah.
I just here's I guess what the question.
I got something I could show you. I got it on my wall. You want me to go get it? Never mind. Anyway, it's this beautiful certificate, and I don't frame many things or put on the wall, too many things. But this I gotta, and the principal, wink, Albert, the principal had to be in this class. He was forced to be in it, and he fell asleep every time he managed to show up. And it was the most silly bunch of junk that I have ever seen. And so when they signed this thing that I had, accomplished this, whatever it was, I said, hot dog, I am going to frame that and put it on my wall. It says, it starts with, so what its name is Chris, I think. And I can't remember exactly what CRISS means, but it might as well mean the education system is messed up. I don't know what it meant, but I do know that Mr. What's his name went to sleep in it. Nobody liked it. We didn't learn anything, and it was a waste. So go ahead. What's next?
Yeah. So you worked a lot in printing, so doing a lot of graphic design work. So how did that entail you into becoming a teacher and teaching that? Like, how did that opportunity come about for you?
Oh boy, here's another hour. Okay, so I was the graphic designer for the Government Center print shop of the Consolidated Government of Columbus. And I went in there within a few months of the man retiring, the manager retiring. And I knew from what all I knew that I could do his job. And kind of went in thinking, he's retiring and there's only a printer and a pressman and a camera guy and a girl that makes photocopies. I'll probably, hopefully, get the manager's job. Okay, so I worked there. When I got there, he was working half days, and he was using up all the time he had saved up all those many years he worked there, and he had people. I walked in that office, and there were just stacks and stacks of work orders that had dates on them, like almost a year ago. I don't know how many business cards, letterheads, and these are for the departments of that work every day at the government center, from the police department to the bus stop, the bus people, and only ones that got done were from the mayor's office and the city manager's office because he wasn't going out. So, but everybody else, I could hear him on the phone. Oh, that's probably going to take at least 3 or 4 weeks just to get paper in. You order the paper and you get it either that day or the next day. It's just stupid. So when he would leave, he got mad at me actually because I started doing the work, and I said I'd hear him say something stupid, and I'd say, "No, Mr. Johnson, I've got it done. It's ready to go to press." Oh, well, anyway, we wait till we get 100 business cards. We don't print just 10 or 20 of them at a time. We get 100, and then we do it. Why? Anyway, I wasn't disrespectful. I knew my place, but I was letting him know that we could get the work done. I could do it. You're backed up. So anyway, eventually he did retire. And of course, like I said, half the day he wasn't there. So when people came into the print shop, they saw me. When they wanted something, they saw me. I'll never forget the face on this one woman. She says, "How long am I going to have to wait for this?" I think it was from the police department. How long am I going to have to wait for? I don't know if it was a citation book or it was something important. And I said, well, I think we could probably have those done sometime by the end of the week. And her face looked like she had heard, something from outer space. I don't know. And I got that reputation of getting things in and getting things out. And I ordered the paper and I did the billing for the other departments. I did all the monthly reports. I did everything that man was supposed to have been doing, but didn't. Okay, so in the time being, they took our department out from under administration and put us under the IT, Information Technology Division. Well, the man that ran that department, he came into the print shop to introduce himself and blah, blah, blah. So he goes to the older man that's retiring, and when he looks at me, even though I've got this strange looking computer that's not anything like anybody's seen because it's a photo typesetter. You have to be trained to do that. You can't just walk up, flip a switch, and start doing computer work. But he still only saw me as a secretary, a typist. And he asked the man, "Who do you think out of the bunch that's here should run the shop when you're gone?" And I don't know if this resonates with you, Albert, or not, but in the print shop, you have to get the job, design the job, get it ready for the print it, and all that. Well, the last person in our line, besides the bindery, is the press operator. And the press operator doesn't even have to be able to read. All he has to do is stack the paper, and there's some mechanics involved, but it's the routine command. It's once you learn it, you got it. So he stacked the paper, and then when you get it running right, you sit back like this, and you watch it until it, runs out of paper, or what. Anyway, that's the man he wants to run the print shop. There's no reports. There's nothing. As a matter of fact, every day at lunch he had a beer, and he would
Yeah.
smoke. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's great. Come back and run a machine when you had a beer or
Lose a
two.
But you
finger.
just
Or
said it
two.
didn't have to read. I don't think that means you got to be very skilled to run it either. You could drink a beer and run the machine, right?
You might could, but the city, it's the city, and it's against the rules. And he got the
Oh.
job. That's my point.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you
I
go.
was following the rules, and I got diddly. Anyway, so he also smoked back there, and he smoked in the dark room, and he smoked in the inventory room. And what's in inventory in a print shop?
Ink.
Ink, paper, chemicals. Anyway, forget all that. He got the job. Okay, well, what happened is they decided that they were going to move that job down from a manager to a supervisor job. So he didn't get the title he wanted, and he didn't get the money he wanted. And I was aggravated enough, and I did complain to affirmative action, but I did complain, but I got nowhere. Anyway, so I was looking for another job, and I found one at Columbus State University. They wanted a print shop manager for their in-house print shop at the college. At the, what do they call it now? University. So anyway, I had 2 interviews. They went real well, and they were ready to hire me. I could feel it. I've been hired a lot of places. And I was in my office one day, and the new supervisor come bouncing in there. I just can't put up with this. This isn't right. They shouldn't have done me this way. I wouldn't look for another job. I said, yeah. He says, yeah, I'm fixing to be the new manager at Columbus State University. My
Huh.
heart, oh, my heart. I just was like, ah, you know? And I didn't even know he had applied. And sure enough, the call didn't come that I was expecting. It did not come.
Oh
And
man.
after I got over that sickness, I decided, well, shoot, that just means you're out of here and I can be supervisor. I don't mind the pay. I don't mind being called a supervisor instead of a manager. Give me the job. Was told not to even apply. They were going with the cameraman. Cameraman.
Mm.
And all he did was strip. I don't know if you know what stripping negatives is. You do, Matt. No, y'all didn't. Y'all don't do. Y'all do paper.
My graphic
Plates.
design degree is on the computer 100%. So
Okay.
don't use any film.
Well, now they use mostly paper plates, but
Yeah.
anyway, he didn't know. He didn't do the billing, the inventory, the ordering. He didn't deal with the vendors. He didn't do anything but yell and scream at people. When I first started working there, we shared an office, and some mornings I'd go in and I'd say, "Hey," and he'd go, "Arr," and so I didn't. I stopped saying good morning, and his wife even told me one day we were talking. She'd come up there for something, and she told me, "Oh, I just don't speak to him till he speaks to you. Wait and see what his temperature is before you say anything." I said, "That's not a problem. I can just not talk to him at all." And he got the job, sure did.
Wow.
And so then,
So
luckily,
where did the
somehow,
school come in for you?
okay, that particular week, I don't know why. I don't even though I was looking in the newspaper and there was an ad for a graphic arts teacher at Harris County High School. No experience. Get this. This is education. And this is part of the problem. No experience necessary. Problem was they couldn't find anybody with a degree in graphic design because there were no classes to take for graphic design, but they wanted to teach it because it was coming into the age of computers and many, many different changes. So I applied for that job and I got it. I got it within a few days. I interviewed with the personnel office. I interviewed with the assistant principal. I don't know if you remember Mrs. Rogers, and I interviewed with the principal, and I got that job. And the next Sunday, I was cutting the ribbon on that building with the rest of them.
Oh, that's awesome. So, is this where Albert comes into the picture, or is that later on?
No, that was years later, probably.
I started.
So you were teaching in graphic design, and then in walks Albert Hero. Tell us about the first time you met this dude.
Well, I didn't see him walk in. It was, I guess,
Nobody sees him walk in.
All the girls saw me, Matt. All the girls saw me.
Oh, yes, they did. Oh,
Nice. Teachers got you back all these years later. You were the man, Al.
Yeah, you talk about when I said I was a walking soap opera. That boy was a walking soap opera at that school. Anyway, so I don't remember seeing him walk in. I know where I was standing, and when I looked up, and the first time I ever saw him, I can see it right now. I can tell you what he was wearing. He was sitting with his back to the whiteboard and his arms across the table. He was talking to somebody. I think it was a girl, but I'm not sure. But there was somebody. I don't know. He was wearing a white,
with Al.
a white
Yeah.
sweater. That from a distance you might would have thought it was a white. What do you call them? Larry wears them all the time. The thermal underwear, but it wasn't. It was a really nice sweater, white, kind of off-white sweater. But from a distance, I'm just saying that so that you can understand what it looked like. I saw him. It was quality. I knew he was dressed well. He had this look on his face. He was confident. To me, he was confident, and he had a little bit of smile. That little smile, not a big smile, a little smile, and he was just he. That's the first time I saw him. I don't even know that I remember the first interaction, but it did not take me long to realize there's something very different and something very special about him. And I don't think he knew what it was when he felt that way about me. And I don't know what it was. I now, years later, have some inkling, and I'll share that with you in a minute. But I didn't know and he didn't know. But Albert, God knew.
Yep. Facts.
Your voice is gone.
No.
I'm going to try my little log out, log in. Your voice. Oh, there you are. There you are.
Oh, no, we're good.
Good.
But
Keep going, man.
That's how I felt about it, But
yeah, I remember, Al, didn't you?
Most people don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I don't hear you.
Uh-oh.
So I'll just talk.
Yeah, log out and log back in if you can't hear us.
No, I can hear you, Ty. Okay, I don't know what just comes and goes. Anyway, and I'm not saying, I don't want this to sound weird. It may to some people, it might not to some people. But when I was in my 20s, I guess. Yeah. And I wanted a baby so bad. And I had been married, no birth control whatsoever. And I decided I would take fertility pills. Aren't I smart? Because I'm smarter than God, right? So I got some fertility pills and I took them and I got pregnant. And on April 24th, 1981, my little baby boy died before he was born. A week before, on Easter, Palm Sunday, that Easter, I was in church, and one of the verses, and I meant to look up because I've forgotten where it's located, but I will get it. I'll prove it's there. The preacher said these words. They were from the Bible, and he said, I guess it was Jesus, God talking. I would not have you ignorant. Know that those who are asleep in me are alive, and you will see them again. And somewhere in that week, I had a dream that I was in the back of St. Mary's Elementary School, and I had a baby in my hand, and there's a little brown-haired boy baby. And I was just swinging him, and going around and around. And then all of a sudden, this giant hand and this light and this glow, and I knew it was God. He reached down, and he took for the baby. And I knew he was reaching for the baby. And I handed the baby to him. This was I don't even know. It didn't feel like a dream. It was more like a vision, and I do believe in those. So it just happened. He reached, I gave, and I was at peace, and it was okay. And I woke up and didn't think much about it. And by the next Sunday, I think it was Good Friday, but by the next Sunday, that baby had been whatever April 24th was. He passed. When's your birthday, Albert?
August
What
14th,
year?
1980.
I don't want to miss this part of the conversation, so I'm going to log. I've lost you again.
Yeah, I don't know why it keeps doing that. We apologize, but this is amazing. Like, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's amazing the story she's telling. Like this is cool as hell. I'm sitting here in the background, like I wasn't gonna do a hot seat for her, but like I think I want to hear her wax poetic about some of these, these insight questions. And we've not even gotten to her husband still, so we got to get there. Here he is. She's back here, Beth Harris.
I missed the reaction when Albert answered my question.
I was born on August 14th, 1980.
1980. Okay. I thought for some reason you were born in 81. And it wasn't until recently that I thought something. I don't know. I'm not saying, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. It's not like move over Susan. It's like
No, you were. I mean, I've talked to Ty. You were like a second mother to me. You really did, like, for no reason. There was no reason why you invested so much energy and love and care. And I think if you hadn't, I probably wouldn't have graduated. I know I wouldn't have graduated. I'd have been out the door.
No, I don't really. I've told you this many times. I think you would have found the resolve. It may not have been through my words, but thank you. I'll just hush and take the thank you.
Yeah, and then let me also tell you this: y'all's story resonates with me because, like, in order to see some of these, diamonds that were in our education system when we, Gen Xers were growing up, just the connection that I have with like Dr. Fogg and all the teachers that helped get me through high school, those kids that like Al and I that had like some crazy ass youth, Matt, he had, family that was just crazy life. So we resonate with our educators having that bond all these years later. So I
need a job to help my family out. And Beth got me a job at Catfish Country. I was working at the Catfish place on St. Mary's Road. Like, it got me a job.
I'm biting my tongue. You know that, right? Okay. Yes, you did. You did a fine job, sir.
Had a good time at Catfish Country.
So I would like to get into the point where your current husband, how did you meet him? And we really want to hear the story from your perspective as a spouse, like that journey, and hear more about his story. So if you don't mind, can we go into that a little bit? Like, where'd you guys meet? How did that happen?
That spring, I was 16, and I don't know what you guys did, but our our idea of a date in our little group was a couple of us get in a car and ride around and go to people's houses and visit. And I won't tell you everything we did, but we just, we didn't go to the movies and go out to eat, and we just rode around. Most of them were drinking. I didn't drink because a lot of times I was driving, and I was one of those girls who I'd get me a Miller Pony, and and I never took a sip, but it looked like I was. And I, walk in the bathroom, and I would dump it because I wasn't gonna be out of my mind. I wasn't gonna get a ticket. My mother would have killed me and took my car away. And I was a rule follower, even though I was trying to have fun, and I had fun, but I didn't drink, and I didn't like the way it felt. Because at 15, I did try this girl in Atlanta, a friend of mine. She was an Army brat, and she moved to Atlanta after she left. That's they always leave. So she left, and I got invited to her house, and I don't know why, but she managed to get a bottle of Boone's Farm Strawberry Hill.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
$1 a bottle back in the day. That's what you got in between paydays.
Anyway, she didn't want it. She didn't even like it. It was just too sweet. And so I said, "Oh, this is good. This is good. This is good." How many This Is Goods do you think I needed before I was?
Oh,
Yeah.
you finished the bottle.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Finished the
15.
bottle. There you go. Nice.
Didn't want anything else. I never drank wine again until, older in a setting where you just say, okay. And no, didn't care for alcohol. But I did, but at the same time, I wasn't wanting anybody to think I was judging them or I wasn't fun. So I pretended. I mean, there's my confession. I pretended to drink Miller Lite. Okay, what's next? You asked me that, and I got off on beer.
Yeah, got off on beer. So
Your
meeting
husband.
your
Oh,
current
okay.
husband. How did you guys
Okay.
meet? How
What
did
it
that go?
is we hung around, and I don't know if we were dating, but we were hanging out, and he was the only guy I was seeing, and I was the only girl he was seeing, but wasn't anything really there. This guy was Bobby, and so one day we were going to see some friends of his. Okay, so we already I had seen Larry. We went to one friend's house at some apartment, and there were these guys sitting in chairs, back all around the apartment living room. And I remember seeing Larry. I just saw him for a split second, and I go, yeah, he's cute. And we left. As soon as Bobby saw that there was only guys there, he was ready to go. So we left. A couple of weeks later, we went to another person's house. Well, turns out it was Larry's house. But Bobby told me he was married. Well, technically, he wasn't married, but Bobby wanted me to think he was married. And he was, like I said, older than me. And I think Bobby knew that I thought he was pretty cute. And so, anyway, we stopped seeing each other. And I met this other guy, and he was just funny. He made me laugh. I really hit it off, and I knew that I was fixing to be 18, and it wouldn't be long for one way or the other. I'm getting the blank out of my mama's house. Done. So don't think it's Auburn. So one one day he decides he wants to take me to. Now we did go to movies, and we did the real date thing. We were more becoming a couple fairly quickly than anybody I'd ever dated before. But anyway, we got to this house, and I said, "This is where Bobby brought me the other night." And so we go in there, and when Larry opened the door, he just, I mean, he was, the look on his face I cannot describe. And so it turns out that Bobby and Larry and Lee all worked at the same heating and air conditioning company. They all knew each other. And so they were a little bit later on. This was a short period of time because I met Lee and married him within 6 months. How smart was I? Um, so I Okay, so they were working at Baker High School doing renovations. Just before they demolished it, they were doing renovations. And Lee told Larry that he was getting married. And Larry, this is what Larry has told me. And Larry said that when he told me who he was marrying, I thought I was going to drop my pout, everything. He was stunned. But you got to remember, I thought he was married. He was living with this girl, which was enough. I mean, they were hooked up, right? But he wasn't married. So anyway, I married Lee, and he ended up marrying this girl. And for 10 years, we were couple buddies. I didn't like her at all. I don't think she liked me. But Larry and Lee were pretty good friends. And then something happened, and I don't think I better. I think I should have to pass by your legal department before I tell this story, but it involves something
Hey, let me get in touch with the wolf.
not
real quick.
kosher, maybe.
Hold on.
They
Counsel's
they
saying
had
no
a falling out. The
legal
two of them.
reason.
Can you
we
still
don't
hear
have
me?
to go
Because
into
it
that.
sounded like I can't hear anything. Do
Yeah.
you hear me?
Good?
Yes, we can hear you.
Do you hear me?
We can
Yes.
hear you. You can't hear us, can you?
Not if you hear me. Okay, I'm just gonna keep talking because I don't hear anything from you. But anyway, the bobblehead dudes. So anyway, they had the falling out, and then I ran into him somewhere. He was alone, and I was alone. And it was the unemployment office. He was like 20 people ahead of me, and I was behind him. And all we did all day, besides stand in line, was stare at each other. And then about the same year, it was the same year, he got divorced, and we got divorced. And it was actually Lee who told me that Larry had gotten divorced. So what do? I call him. And that's how it started.
Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
I have good questions too.
I know.
Yeah, we'll get her to log back in. I think she's getting a message. I can see that her phone, she's clicking something away. So I think she's getting a message, and that's when our
Does she have an iPhone?
Yeah, she's on her iPhone. Yeah. So
it's a little moon. Tell her to hit the moon. If you hit the moon, it turns on Do Not Disturb. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but it wasn't showing up for her. But yeah, let's keep going. I think she should be able to hear us now.
Can you hear me? All right.
Yes.
So here's the question I got for you. So now, meeting him, you called him. We all know the rest is history, right? We know that.
Yes,
now,
it is.
At what point was this? So this was before going to Vietnam, or after, or
Way
what point was that? So it was after.
Yeah.
So you guys
when I
met
first
afterwards.
laid eyes on him, the first time I ever saw him at that guy's house, he had finished what they call it, completed his obligation in 71. I met him in 74.
Okay.
By the time that we got together was our first baby was born in 1988. That's a lot of history. I mean, you have to understand, we saw each other. We were friends. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like we were doing anything behind either of our spouses' eyes or anything. There was just these things, I think we always knew, and we've talked about it, that there was something there. And there's a song that fits it to a T, but you probably don't know it. You're in my heart, Christ. You're in my soul, Rod Stewart.
You're in my heart, you're in my soul.
With the big bosom lady with the Dutch accent, that was her. That was her. Yeah. And she tried to change his point of view. She caused us to have to break up for a long time while I was pregnant, which was killing me. She caused a lot of havoc. But that song just about says it all, because it was strange. But when he finally came back, he's not been gone a day since.
So, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about him, and then I know that you know, being married for as long as you have, you went to Vietnam, you met him after. Talk to us a little bit, if you can, about what it's like seeing what a lot of people know today as just normal, right? They say veterans all the time, PTSD or TBI and all these different things. It's like, oh, that's there. It's always been around. But is there anything you should tell us what it's like to go through that from a spouse's perspective, being with someone who served and went and did those things, and then now, you know, sometimes things are off and you got to figure it out. Walk us through that journey.
When I first met him, you know, you got to think it's been 4 years, and I remember he limped and he held his knee a lot. And I asked him, you know, the story I always heard was they had left shrapnel. He has 2 Purple Hearts. Well, he has a Purple Heart in the cluster, the oak cluster. And he didn't seek them out, by the way. And I want to make that very strong. I understand it, and I may be wrong, but I understand that you have to seek those out after you get shot, and you have to be treated medically. I don't know. I understood that you have to seek those out. His COs applied for that for him. But anyway, the story always was, and I've never seen any x-rays, but he had shrapnel left in his knee. But this is hard because he wouldn't tell the doctors. All these years, I kept telling him, you've got PTSD. And he had his own. He self-medicated, and it wasn't alcohol. And I heard one of your guests speak something to this, and I think you can fill in the blanks. But he wouldn't tell. Have you, all of you together, have you ever known any soldier that will go to a doctor and they have this mindset that doctor is their superior commander or some kind of, and they won't tell them, I'm not going to admit pain. I'm not going to tell you I have PTSD. I'm not going to tell you about the dreams and the nightmares and the mornings, in the middle of the night, I wake up pouring sweat, yelling, medic, medic. And, I'm like, I've seen it for 30 years, something years. I have heard him. I've been at the other end of the swings and the punches but he never got his rating proper because he wouldn't tell him, oh, well, it's okay. But at home, I'm rapping the damn thing. Anyway.
Yeah. No, that's
So-
you're describing every veteran for the most part that has served, right? If you say there's something wrong, then you can't do the job that you're there to do. And if you can't do the job you're there to do, you feel like you're letting people down. And
Right.
unfortunately, the people that you are letting down in those situations is the people at home that care about you the most. You just don't see that at the moment because that's not the people that are there with you every day that have to do the mission, but they're the people that have to deal with the repercussion of it, right? You're normal out in public and you're not when you're at home. And that's what the hardest part is. And so that's why, it's interesting to get a perspective from your viewpoint. So going to the doctor all these times, not saying what it is or not talking about what you have, like at any point, did his rating ever get changed? Did you guys
No,
figure that out?
he would say he couldn't hear. So he's got 10% rating for tendonitis. That's it. Oh, and Agent Orange, he has skin cancer on his head, his hands, everywhere that he was exposed. And he has watched those fields with those farmers and those poppy seed growers. He's watched them dump that stuff on people. He was so close to it. He worked. He has Agent Orange, but his community care doctor can't prove that it came from Agent Orange, so he can't get his rating. And he's claimed that. But he never claimed PTSD because that's just, he's 78 years old. You can't be crazy because that's crazy. I don't know.
Dude, I can't wait to get old. I'm not gonna lie to you, because when you say crazy shit when you're old, people are just like, oh, they're old. Let them have a pass. But the whole time I'm like, watch this shit I'm about to say. This is gonna be great. But
yeah.
So when was the last time you guys tried to do something for his rating to get it increased or changed?
Before he went to the rehab, before he got under the bed, got stuck. Yeah. It was, but after he'd started, so too late because he started to lose his mind enough to where, I forget what she's called. What are they called? Something officer, something. Anyway, the lady I talked to, she had been in the Army. She was a soldier, and she was doing that job of what's the name of the person who does the rating?
The VSO.
See,
the
they couldn't
Veteran
even
Service
get him
Officer.
to the clinic. They couldn't get him to Skiggy. They couldn't get him down here to the Bob Porter shift down here 5 miles to get measured for a wheelchair. They couldn't get him down here for any test because I don't know how they managed all these missions and ops and stuff overseas when y'all are in battle, because they can't figure any logistics out for one house and a one bed and a one man. But anyway, he couldn't by that time he couldn't go do all the tests, and he was too far gone mentally because he has dementia too, and he can't get rated because he's too far gone. He can't. They might not believe him, or he's got to be tested. But don't they have his service records? Can't they see there's shrapnel in the? I mean, do they destroy those records? I mean, don't you know Agent Orange? I don't know. I just don't see how it works that way. But yeah, we've tried and it's not working. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, can you hear me? No, can't hear. She keeps getting text messages.
Go ahead and talk, Matt, and we'll get her to dial back in.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, what we need to do for her. I don't know if it's too late or if it's not too late, man. But we've talked to quite a few people that can help with ratings on this show, man. It's worth the call to get her in front of someone that may be able to help, right? Because at the end of the day, the most important part of that rating, and if you can get to the rating that you need, which is 100, is whoever the caregiver is gets that support, even after. And so those are the most important things. So that's what I was gonna, if she's back, we were gonna, like, we need to get you in touch with people that can help you out or maybe walk you through some things, like, because you're right. I mean, they keep records, they have them. If it's been claimed before in a previous like submission and it was denied, you can go back and look at all of that stuff and you can get documentation. And nowadays you're able to do what they call buddy letters. And so buddy letters can come from people you served with, they can come from your spouse, all those things you just describe of 30 years seeing this, seeing that. That's all proof sources, right? So there's different ways that you can do it. We just need to get you in touch with somebody that can help you there, right? That could maybe help out with it. At the end of the day, is it gonna make the difference and be the home run that you need to hit out of the ballpark? Maybe not. You might hit a double though. If you hit a double, it's better than nothing at all, So that's the biggest reach. You were talking to a VSO, which is a veteran service officer. They know how to take the claims, they know how to put them in. But the people that we've talked to, they're also VSOs, but they do this. That's what they do every day. They're not trained to do it and help out when they're needed. It's what they do.
It's what they do.
And so yeah, we could get you set up there. No, Al, you know people that we can.
Yeah, Matt, I've taken note. This is going to be part of our agenda when we meet next week. We'll just add this and try to get some good veteran service officers and some good lawyers that know how to get this stuff done real quick for however we can do to, there's parts of your story that you said he got himself caught under the bed, but kind of talk about what you were talking about with his bed that they gave him through the VA. It didn't have the proper support on the side. So kind of wax poetic about that. Go off on that, because we really need to get this podcast specifically in front of all of our veteran service officers, all our veteran service providers in the VA and where Miss Beth Harris is, because we need to get this rectified for a veteran.
We've got the rails now, but it was after he been transferred from rehab to the side of the building for residents and telling me he can't come home. But we ordered the bed, finally got the bed, and only because I finally found out about a patient advocate and she helped me. I didn't even know what a patient advocate was, but they're pretty darn good, some of them anyway. And so we got the bed finally and got him moved in. And even when they were putting it together, of course, the durable medical equipment people, they don't care. They're just delivering what the VA ordered. But I was looking at it and I said, but he can get out. You got a gap in the center of this bed on both sides. He can get out. Well, he just don't get out. And I said, okay. And so, of course, when we put him in there wasn't any time. I mean, this was January of last year. He got the bed. So it was just a couple of days. First, he was just too tired. He was too busy, figuring out what the trapeze was and, this and that, and trying to learn how to use the bed. And he was fine. He was behaving. And then all of a sudden, he raises this. I had to take the remote control of the bed away from him. So he's going to kill himself. So he raises the bed all the way up. And he decides he's going to go feed some dogs that were in the corner of the room that were hungry and thirsty. We didn't have any. So anyway, he falls out of the bed. And it just so happened that he did this just minutes before the first nurse was coming to assess him. She didn't work directly at the VA. She wasn't a VA nurse, but she worked for the company they hired. So she came and she had to help me get him back in the bed, and she was fuming. She said, no, with his condition, this bed is not going to make it. You need to get them to get you some new rails. And I said, you going to vouch for me? Yes. And she was just, I believe she put it in her report that first week that she was here. And then countless calls. They say they record them, but I don't know if they do. But I can't record the call, but I make a lot of notes and I get names and I've called and I and I have come to some form, and I can't remember the right letters. It's P something 65, and I've tried to fill that out, but I'm stuck. And also, it sounds like you're suing them, and I don't want to be litigious. I don't want anything I'm not supposed to have. I just want them to. He would not have gotten those bed sores and had to go to wound care and ended up worse off if they'd just done what I asked them the last week of at least by the first week of February. I've got those photographs that you see are just a tiny portion of them. And I began to record these, and some people might think I'm stupid for taking pictures of a man in that position, but they were accusing me of not feeding him, so I was taking pictures of him eating. When he went to the hospital the first time, they within 30 minutes after he went to the hospital, the police were at my door ready to charge me with elderly abuse because his sheets were soiled. The man he often took his adult diaper off, and I can't buy but so many sheets. So when you bleach them, they don't always get white again. So they didn't look real good, but I didn't know they were going to take the sheet with them. Anyway, I had to get the nurses and my caretaker. He had not a CNA, but a personal caregiver, come 13 hours a week, and she told, I didn't get arrested, but I sure felt like I was fixing to be.
Yeah. Do you guys live rural then, right? I'm assuming in a rural area.
No,
I live in the city.
I live a few blocks from each hospital. I live like dead center between St. Francis. No, no.
Okay.
She lives in Columbus, where Fort Benning's at, Matt. Fort Benning.
Yeah, but so obviously he has VA care, right? He goes to the VA for stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, we just need to get you in front of the right people. If we can get in front of the right people,
when they can manage to get him transportation, that was a whole nother crazy thing. They finally did get him a ramp. They got him a ramp way before they got him a wheelchair or a bed. A ramp, no wheelchair. He's been. It's just. I don't know. I don't know if I'm right or if I'm thinking about it wrong, or I don't really.
Yeah, it's frustrating. You should be able to get the answers you're looking for. We gotta do a better job there. And like Ty said, these are the things that, there's a lot of veterans that complain about the VA, right? They do, and their complaint is like, it took me a long time to just get an appointment. But if you have clear things that you need, and it's obvious, like, it should be very simple to do. And so that's part of what we need to get in front of people to be able to help with, because it just needs to be corrected, man. These guys and girls and everybody that's out there, one day the three of us are going to be in that boat. Like, we're going to need that help too. But at the end of the day, they earned the right to have the right care and all that stuff. Right. So we need to make sure that they get that, So I'm sorry that you're going through that.
I'm sorry.
No, I said I'm sorry that you're going through that.
I talked over you, and I said I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
But I tell everybody who answers and starts to kind of make me angry because they're just want to pass the buck. And some of them care very deeply. The ones who help me the most are the ones you can tell that they say, wait a minute, I'm going to do this. And they have made, those are the kind of people who actually got the bed here. But so many of them, when you call and you hear this recording, and it's every clinic, every hospital, from Tuskegee to the Portachef River Road Clinic, to just even the Columbus Clinic, the recording while you're waiting to be, connected with the right person so that they can pass the buck to the other right person. The recording says something about, please hang up now and call so and so and so and so if you have any thoughts of suicide. And then there's this message about suicide so many times. And I remember at some point several years ago, I thought to myself, well, he might not be suicidal, but you're making me that way. and then out of the blue one day, he was on the phone with them, and he said, and I heard him telling the man that, which I knew it was a recording, but he was just bitching at them that recording. And he says, I wasn't suicidal till I got on this phone with you. And it was very strange, but there's a man down the street from me. I've gotten to know him as he walks back and forth. He's trying to keep himself active. He's a Vietnam veteran. And he told me not even 3 weeks ago, I was calling the VA for something and I needed something. And they started talking about that suicide stuff. And he says, I started feeling like I needed to commit suicide. It was that recording telling you, it was like, come on, just don't play the recording. Tell us once how we can get help, because we're too stupid to call 911. Never mind. I'm sorry.
And
That
then
was
they
a
should,
tangent.
you know what
No,
they
you're
should do?
okay.
They should pipe in AFN and put some sports on there and fucking entertain some people and stop
They should answer that.
into your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should answer the phone, but you know how that goes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I
Well,
know. I do feel for them. They have a hard job in the. Oh, and
Yeah.
one of the social workers actually ended up with the lead social worker because he was so understaffed. And that man told me a lot. He probably would have gotten fired if he had been heard. And I felt so sorry for him. And he got a lot of things, little things done for me. But he was really helpful in the information that he got. And I'm fixing to show y'all something. So a lot of it is they don't have enough people to work. But do you all know what a Band-Aid is? All of you?
Yeah.
You
I
know what a
think so.
Band-Aid is? If I asked you to give me an oversized Band-Aid, because you know how old people's skin bushed and so thin, and I ordered these Band-Aids, and I got a bunch. What is this? An ace bandage, maybe?
That's an oversized Band-Aid, according to the military.
Is
Is it a wrap around anything?
It's not this. Which is okay. So, okay, I get 20 of these, none of these. Okay, I get over it, no big deal. Lots of bigger things in the world. And so I just simply, call them and reorder. Got another 20. It took 3 times to get these Band-Aids. And then I got 24 packs of 10. And the reason I say that, it doesn't sound like it's much, but when you take that kind of mass waste over every veteran that gets supplies, he got diapers, adult male diapers, and there's 20 in each pack, 2 in each box. So that's roughly 40 diapers. Even if he changed it 3 times a day, it's just not that many. When those diapers got to my house, I couldn't get out my front door. I've got scads of boxes. I've got maybe 30 boxes of 2 times 40, 2 times 20. It's the lack of common sense is why do you do that? Why do the things I need you can't send and things I need but you don't need that many, and then you're gonna turn around and send me that many more the next month? This is
It's almost like you would think
I don't have anywhere to put them.
they would create like an order system where you can go, I want this, 2 of those, I want this, I want 1 of them, and you get it like Amazon, dude. Like VA,
Yeah.
like let's just do Amazon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be good.
Yeah.
Order
But
what
they
you need,
just-
it comes in, and if it's part of what you need, then you're good to go. Like it's crazy.
It is
Crazy.
crazy. I just wanted to show the waste, and I know you know some of the waste, but
Oh yeah.
the
for
things
sure.
that you need, like bed rails and ramps and wheelchairs. But I get ace bandages. I can wrap that knee up good now, can I?
There you go. There you go. Well, I tell you
Every
what.
right the whole neighborhood's knees.
So
I've actually given them away. I have. And to
Yeah.
some veterans, actually, that my friend that I was talking about a while ago gave him
Yep.
too.
So if we've learned one thing today, it's that you are a firecracker, right? Like you ain't gonna take no crap and you're gonna get shit done, right?
If it can be done, I'm going to do it. And I'm
There
going to
you
keep trying
go.
until
So I don't know if
somebody-
you've noticed, but the screen is on fire. There's fire around the corners. That means Ty gets to go in and put you in what we call a hot seat. So now it's time we get to ask you questions that could make you think a little bit, and Ty's going to take you through it, and me and Al are going to come back in a couple minutes. But now you belong to the hot seat master.
Oh, I've seen
Yeah.
this part. Oh,
Yeah,
does this get me out of the sports thing? Because I don't know anything about baseball.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure. You don't have to do the sports
Yeah,
thing.
you don't have to do the sports. So
My
I normally
1995 World Series Braves can.
Oh, there you go.
My Chipperhead.
Chipper
bobblehead
Jones.
dog. Chipper Jones. What did I say? Chipperhead?
Yeah,
Chipper
he was a
Jones.
chipperhead.
Yeah. So we're
I had
gonna
a candy
do
bar.
the.
He
we're
had
gonna
a
do the
candy
hot
bar.
seat. We're going to do the hot seat a little bit differently. I'm going to keep the guys in here. So we've talked about you. We've talked about your career. We didn't really get much into your political career, but I don't want to play the music, Matt, because it may mess up our audio connection. So I'm going to keep you guys in here. I'm going to show some pictures, and I just want you, if you can, share some of the sentiments and the what you sent me basically an email before the show. when I show these pictures on screen.
Where you want me to start? With my favorite?
Yeah, top left, if you don't mind.
Oh, you don't want me to start with my favorite. Top left. Oh, they're the same thing. You got a small picture of all of them?
Yeah, small picture
So
of all.
I'm looking at the big spot.
Yeah.
Okay, don't look at the left. Okay, top left, I see something with the words live over it. What is that?
Oh, she's
That's
on her phone, Ty. She probably can't see. So,
There you go. Yeah, take off the.
No. I see. I think
Just-
it's Matt. Never mind. It's Matt behind something. Okay.
Go ahead and talk about your favorite photo that you sent me.
Okay. The favorite photo is Hapow at the Vietnam Wall at National Infantry Museum. The granddaughter, the one in the center.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite. I've got gazillions of photographs, and that of all of my photographs, grandchildren, everything, that right there is probably my favorite. That's it. That's great. Do y'all know who the man who was exchanging flowers there? Do you know who he is?
No, who was he?
That's Colonel West. You don't know Colonel West?
No, which Colonel West are you talking about?
Alan West.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We got to hang out one night, and I got to photograph him with everybody at that event. And we were laughing and carrying on, and at the end, we had a little joke about these flowers and flags, but that was a fun night. The buddies drinking. Got the buddies drinking.
Yeah. Let me grab that one.
They were fixing to leave to be dropped into the jungles of Vietnam, and when I first saw the photo, I was like, "Yeah, that's you. You ain't gonna move. You're not gonna raise that glass." But yeah, that's one that he liked too. I mean, he liked his buddies, and he went through a lot with them. I don't see the one that I saw another picture of him somewhere in the past, but he's not in this one. But he was like 3 feet behind him when his head got blown off. That was horrible. But he's not in this picture. Let's see. I like the one with the horse because it lets me know that he had a fairly decent childhood before his father died. Now his childhood story is horrible. It's horrible. It's sad. It makes me sick. But anyway, that's something else. Then the birthday party came just a year or two before this, I guess. The horse, pony, whatever. Okay. Now what?
All right. So the next one, if you tell a good story, so if you could have 1 hour interview with one person from history and talk about one topic, what would it be?
From history, that means he has to be gone.
Sure. Alive or dead.
Let's see. There is a man that is alive, but barely. I'd love to speak to. We're supposed to have an hour to talk about anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're gonna laugh. Neil Diamond.
Okay, what would you talk about? Because there's a movie coming out about him right now.
Yeah, and I was gonna go see it Christmas, but I didn't have a way to get there, and nobody wanted to go see it. I don't know what happened to people.
Support live, go to movies in the movie theaters. Let's get back to doing some cool stuff.
Do what now?
I said support going back to movie theaters for sure. Stop watching the movies in the comfort of your own home. Go spend some.
I would like that if I had any. Anyway, I think I first of all thank him, and I think he knows from something I heard him. He did have to write it before he spoke it because of his disease. I think that, I mean, he just gets it. He gets it, and I didn't realize how much he sacrificed his family life for what he got. But in the end, since they've come back into his life and he shares his ending with them, he's just touched so many people, and he's done it with Christian. He's done it with and I can't even think of the word. What's the word that means just, I can't believe I can't come up with this word. It just means okay. I mean, I'm totally embarrassed that I cannot come up with this word. But
I was
anyway,
thinking
what I'm saying is
selflessly. He didn't do it for him. He did it for everybody else.
right, and he does it the pop culture, the music scene, but he also has that. You know that he has faith. You know that he's been through all these horrible things, but he gets through them because of his faith, and he can sing the gospel songs with the rest of them, and then he can sing "Sweet Caroline," and he can "Break My Heart" with Stones. Stones is one of my favorite songs ever, and I tell him that. Um, Okay, that's not what you wanted. You wanted me to say Ben Franklin because he did the pretty stuff, right?
No, we wanted Neil
Oh,
Diamond.
that's the story we wanted right there. That's exactly what we had in mind.
Yeah, if I were like in my 20s again, and I had realized that I was going to fall in love with him, I would have dumped everybody and gone and been a groupie.
Yeah.
He would
Yeah.
he would have married me, and I wouldn't have cared how much he toured. He just wanted. I better shut up. I think I'm getting tired because I'm getting loose lips. What's next?
All right, so here we normally ask who's the greatest of all time between Prince and Michael Jackson, but I want to ask you, other than Neil Diamond, who is the greatest rock and roller of all time?
Rock and roller, and I have these two to pick from.
No.
No.
Whoever.
Anybody.
Well, I don't know what you call rock and roll because I've never been a big rock and roll.
I want to hear what
like,
you think rock and roll is. Let's do this.
Are Eagles rock and roll?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Eagles.
I mean, here's a funny story. This is funny. A lot of times I want to hear Led Zeppelin, and without fail, if my wife and I are on a road trip and I ask for Led Zeppelin, she's going to play the Eagles. So I think she thinks the Eagles is the greatest rock band ever. So shout out Sarah if you're listening. Inside joke, I guess. But all right, so I'll go ahead and ask you, who's the greatest of all time, Prince or Michael Jackson?
I think I almost give them a toss up because there are songs of Michael Jackson that I just absolutely love, and I felt for him when he was growing. He's my age, and I've watched him. We used to sing 1, 2, 3, and the birdie and this, that, and the other. But Prince had a different. He had this air about him. I'm not saying the air and arrogance air. I'm talking about he had a simplicity that he just. I mean, raspberry beret. You got to move with that. I don't know. They should be brothers. They should be cooked at the hip. I don't know.
They tie.
Okay.
Yeah, tie.
For the sake of the argument, we'll
tie.
yeah, absolutely. For the sake of the argument, we're going to give one half to each, and that way, when every week when we see it's 0.5, we'll know that's Beth Harris that gave a really good explanation for us to award half points each.
It's
Prince
me.
and Michael Jackson.
I'm a mind changer, a trendsetter. It's me.
So I know we have some due diligence to do with what we want to do and try to get some information to you through the VA or how we can make this whole situation better. But I want to ask you about us, kind of the last question on here. What can we do to make our podcast better? In your vast experience, the political arena that we didn't even get to that I was very interested in, what can we do to get better?
We do this every week.
They're mean. Yeah, I could be a regular contributor. I've got some ideas for you guys. Is that what you're looking for?
Yep. Let's go.
Yep.
Okay. I used to be several things. Let's see. I've done it in two different arenas. I've done it in the political arena, and I've done it in the Georgia Christian Coalition. Did you read that on there that I was? Anyway, yes. I've done it in two different. Okay. So one of them was for a magazine. And what I would do is I would go to the convention, or a convention, or some kind of big event where all the similarly situated people would be. So like yours would be veterans. And some event where there's going to be a lot of them. And I had a booth set up, and I would get like one of the situations was the people, the people in charge of that particular county's chapter of that organization, and they had basically like you do the same questions, and then it was my responsibility to take those answers and make a sort of like a profile and write an article and then they had a summation of all the compilation of all of these stories. And then on one, it was not just me and the questions, it was them and the videotape. And if the videotape is just short and asks the specific questions that are most crucial in your mind, then you take and you add a new segment to your show that says, okay, now we're going to, like, you got the blue, what do you call it? Blue, bad people, blue falcon, is that what you call it?
The Blue Falcon of the Week, right?
Okay, so you don't take long. You just say, okay, now we're going to tell what makes so and so. Whether it's somebody like me with you got this problem with the VA, or my son just came home and his legs are gone. I mean, just something short that targets one specific part of the vet life, and you just kind of, I don't know, that's just something I thought of because I had done similar things. I don't know that you could improve. I think it's hilarious in some ways, and it's so thought-provoking in others, and it's such a diverse, you've got, I told Albert the other night that guy was on a Rocha, what's his name, the barbecue guy.
Robert Rocha.
I've never tailgated in my life, never been to a tailgate ever. And now I want to go. And, and I wanted barbecue that night. I
we can
wanted
make that
barbecue
happen.
that night.
We know some people.
Well, that would be fun. And, but no, I don't, I think that y'all do a great job. I just don't have it with the football because I don't know enough about football. I do know this. Here's what I know about football. When one of my daughters is at my house, I say, War Eagle. And when with other daughters at my house, I say, Go Dogs. That's all I need to know, right?
Wow.
That's it.
That is all you need.
Well,
but what's confusing,
speaking of your
I was going to
daughters,
say real quick, though, what's confusing about what you just said is you're yelling War Eagle and their mascot's a tiger. So I don't understand.
you wouldn't.
I don't know anything
Auburn.
about who they're masquerading.
Yeah, neither do they. That's my point.
So
Yeah.
before
What I'm
we
saying
let
is,
you,
I don't even know how the football thing works, huh?
before we let you go, any shout outs you want to shout anybody out? I know you probably your beautiful daughters. I'm sure you want to shout them out. Love you guys, but yeah, anybody you want to shout out and say hey to before we let you drop out here?
I don't think any of them. Most of the people I know don't know how to use the internet.
You could still shout them out, though.
Okay. Okay.
We'll get them on there. We'll bring them into it.
And you can show them. Look what I did for y'all. I made y'all famous.
Okay.
You don't even know how to use the internet.
Ray is my neighbor, and he's a Vietnam War vet. Go Ray. And then my neighbors are so good to me. They make sure they don't see me for a couple of days. They are checking on me. And then Ray brings my trash cans in. He won't take them out because he never knows when I got them full, but he always brings them in. Ray and Deb, Diane. I don't know. My daughters, Katie and Emily, go babies, and my grandchildren. I got one that plays football, one that plays baseball, one that's going to learn to be a welder, and he'll be certified by the time he's out of high school. How does that work? You go to college. Awesome. You go to college and high school at the same time. Yeah, that's it.
Dual enrollment.
Dual enrollment. That's it. Okay. And then the baby girls, the little elementary girls, Jackie and Bailey.
Got it.
And my oldest one that thinks she's all grown and wants to get married at high school at graduation. She's got it all figured out. And,
sounds familiar.
She wrote a book. I want to bring her book on. I should have brought it.
It sounds.
Oh yeah, send it to us. We'll announce it next week.
That story sounds familiar.
Which one?
The one you just said. She's got it figured out. She's ready to get married.
Yes.
I'm gonna
y'all
do
got
this.
That problem. Yeah, she knows everything. Of course, I knew it at 16. She had to wait till
there
she
you
was
go.
18.
There you go. Late bloomer, that one is. A late bloomer.
Yeah, she really is. Yeah, but I had finished high school. She's got a few more months.
Yeah. Got to finish first. Well, Beth, we appreciate you coming on. We're gonna have to have you come back. Like you can't have all the great information and stories that you have and we can't get them out in a couple hours. So we're going to have to bring you back to do it again if you're game to do that.
Oh, I would love
hope
to talk.
so.
I told you I like to talk, but
Hell yeah.
I don't think I'm that interesting. I just
I don't know. We've had a lot of people watching throughout the entire show, and that doesn't happen very often. I'm just going to tell you.
Oh, I wonder if it's anybody I know, because I made a point not to share it with your Aunt Debbie. Is Debbie watching?
I don't know.
Well, she hasn't gotten the comments talking shit yet, so probably not. Probably not.
Okay, and then
Maybe
there's
they're
a couple of people that we know mutually. I just I wasn't sure how I was going to do, so I was kind of leery. And I knew they couldn't solve my problem. And all I want to do, I don't want anything special from them. But what's a PD65? Some kind of form? I told you about that, didn't I? I don't want to sue them, but I just want them to understand that if not for their dropping the ball, I would have enough money to live. They take everything he's got and won't mine too. And they're the cause of it. Won't pay anything. Okay, I'm shutting up now. That was my main point. All right. Love you guys. I really
Love
do.
you.
I know I love you, Albert, but I
Love
think I
you.
love these guys too.
Hold on, before you leave, Al, go ahead, bro.
Oh, I don't have anything. This was great. I mean, anytime I get to spend some time with Beth Harris, it's a great time. I mean, like I said, I want to just echo my sentiment at the beginning. You were an integral part of my life, and you really helped push me forward in life and help me achieve a lot of the goals that I've achieved and the things that I've become. I never told you, I told Matt and them, but hell, I got an internship that you helped. I think you probably applied for me in Atlanta. When I was in boot camp, I got a letter that I had been accepted into their program, but I was already in boot camp. But all of those things, and just you staying on top of me and pushing me to be successful and seeing my value really means a lot. And I love you from the bottom of my heart. And I really appreciate you coming on here tonight.
Well, I appreciate you saying that and you caring about me and inviting me. And I know that it sounds terrible. And if any of my other former students are watching, it's not that I didn't love you, but Albert, you really were the top. I mean, I don't really know why, but you are very, very special to me. And a lot of them I still love. And some of them went on to be graphic artists in New York City and Atlanta. And they did great things. But I don't have the same connection and I don't have the same feelings. And I do love you.
Love you too.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Beth Harris. Yeah, man, that's a lot of fun. Like it's cool to have to know the connections that I had experienced, like to hear your story and to be able to like collate that with Jacksonville, put those two things together and shuffle it all out. It's amazing to hear your story. And man, I just love you. I hope you become the biggest fucking veteran podcast personality there is, because I love how loyal you are. I love how hardworking you are. And it's great to be able to do these interviews that are out of the normal with you guys, because like you guys help me through life, and I love you. So this even though this is not a normal show we do, this is fun, man. I appreciate you.
Dude, but you just have to think about it. How many times do we say on the show when we're getting off, and we're about to do it right now after we're done with sports? If you have a story to tell and you want people to know anything about you, or you feel like what your story is one that needs to be told, then you just reach out to us. Like at the end of the day, we're here to help veterans, and we want veterans to know that you can make it through anything, but you don't have to be a veteran to have a story that it's okay, or that you can make it, or that you can persevere. There's more people that persevere things in life every day than just veterans. And it's good for veterans to see people that didn't go through what we went through in service, and see that in that part, you're not alone too, right? There's not just struggle when you separate from the military, or when you went through the things you went through when you were on deployments and things like that. There's people that see that stuff without service, and it's good to hear their story and see how they get through, because those tools they use can help you too. And so, I mean, we can tell everybody's story. I don't care who you are. If you want to tell your story, that's what we're here to do. That's why we do this, literally. And it's fun. So.
Yeah. I love how, man, they said during the comments, this could be a 3-part, I put under her headline, they should make a movie. Like you could make a movie and just highlight what, needs to happen, like a blueprint, a way forward, a case study, whatever it's got to be for Mr. Abel. I mean, I think the VA has done great by me, but there's always these stories. And so we have to do case studies on these stories at a very least to figure out, the way forward for care for
Yeah,
these.
we got to get better, right? I mean, there are some great VAs out there. There's some great VSOs. There's some great programs, but how do what we want is to be able to help and get those programs and that support to those veterans that aren't getting it. So that's where, like to Matt's point earlier, we're gonna do our due diligence to help where we can and make phone calls and see what we can come up with as well, because for every great veteran story, there's a couple that aren't as great. And those are the veterans that really need that support and need that care later on in life. And especially when you're talking about our Vietnam veteran community, right? Their age demographic puts them in their late 60s, mid 70s, right? Don't forget about that community as well. Those individuals fought for their country, horrific shit, and need the support and help from the VA as well.
Well, I mean, that's just part of it. It's all about training and development, right? Like the easiest way, in my opinion, this is just what I think. And I know that everyone is going to be like, well, then that would just be too easy, wouldn't it? Well, you're fucking right. It is. It's too easy. Train the people that answer the fucking phone to be able to answer the question that somebody has when they call. I've called and can't get an answer on things. And I feel like I'm asking a pretty basic question, but here's the thing. I'm not calling to ask about why did I get the wrong bed that I absolutely need? Why did you bring me a ramp before I got a wheelchair? Why don't I get transportation when I need it? Like all those things, those are high value needs. I think the problem is this whole issue of technology is where it goes into, like, we've lost the art of customer service and being personal to people. You can't call anywhere.
Nope.
Or try to get anything done nowadays without talking to their effing robot. I can help you. I do. Becky laughs at me, but I'll sit at the table and I will go, I don't want to fucking talk to you. I want to talk to a real human being.
Oh, bro, I scream. I get on a call and I scream, representative. They're like, yes, but let me get you to the right person. Get me to any fucking person. I don't care who they are. Put me on the phone with a human being.
So now you look at it like this. Now, when you look at that, you now have these people that were get hired into a job to be customer service reps and call, right? You call the VA, you should be able to get someone to answer the phone, and they have no idea how to talk to somebody. You know what they should do? Here's an even easier solution for you guys at the VA, all right? Everybody that works at the VA that answers the phone has to do it while they're playing their fucking video games. And they have to answer the phone while they're on their headset. And so while they're playing their video game and somebody calls them, I guarantee you they'll give you all the answers you want, because that's how they know how to communicate, through a headset while doing 10 other things. Like it's impossible.
Matt, Larry's story is angering because he's not the only one. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
There are people out there who are not getting the service they need, and they're calling, their spouses are calling, desperately looking for answers and needing help, and they're getting a robot on a phone, or they're getting somebody that says the shit, which drives me insane when they give you the whole, let me transfer you to somebody who can help you, and you're like,
oh, dude,
I called and talked to you. What is your fucking job? Like, transfer me to, and then I get transferred to another person. Before you know it, you're so frustrated.
Yeah. Call center. They got the sheet. Oh, they asked this question, transfer to this department to go to that. And you got the whole web. And, I don't know how many times I've called the VA and other places, and the fourth person they transfer me to picks up the phone, and I tell them, listen, I hope you're having a good day, and I'm not trying to ruin it, but you're the fourth fucking person I've been transferred to, and I can't get an answer. And I don't want to be transferred again. I need an answer like now. So rather than you transfer me to an apartment, I need this done. Who can I talk to do it now? Like, who's in charge? And even then the managers can't help you because they don't know the answer.
And
we are so far from like customer service, know your job, get trained how to do it, make sure that you know what you're doing.
Right.
They just don't know. And
don't get me wrong.
Leadership doesn't give them the tools to succeed.
That's right. Answers. And I'm not bashing the VA because I'm like Ty. I've had some great responses from the VA, but every VA is not the same. And no. If you're not getting the help you need from a VA, there's got to be some. And we are. We're gonna connect Beth with some resources, some people we know that could hopefully help her situation.
But listen, it is that's not just a VA problem, bro. That's not just a VA problem. It's an everything problem everywhere. Right. We want like. I get it. Technology, AI is great. It's going to make things easier. It's all going to be better. I use the shit. It helps me. But y'all also got to know that it's not perfect. Like at some point, a robot's not going to fix my fucking problem because all that robot's going to tell me is, oh, like you type the question, you know how many, I don't even want to get into it. They keep telling you there's not an issue. Like, bitch, there is an issue. Like, that's why I called you. And you can't talk to anybody. It's frustrating. But then what's even crazier is we understand technology, right? To some certain extent. We've used the phone. We have computer. Like, do that. Take someone in the Vietnam era.
Right.
You have to do what? You got to get on the computer. You've got to call the number. You've got to hit prompts. Like, that is not their world. You know what they want to do? I want to go to the local VA office, sit in the waiting room for 20 minutes and talk to a person.
Right. It is. I mean, my dad's not a Vietnam era guy. He's a Gulf War era guy. And even he has struggles trying to navigate the sea of, and I'm with David Willis, right? You got to be your own advocate. And I think that's what Beth's doing in her situation. She's an advocate for her husband who doesn't have, who no longer has the cognition to speak for himself or to explain, but he's absolutely right. I mean, patient advocates can help. There's a lot of resources out there, but to Matt's point, do the Vietnam veterans know those resources? Right?
Yeah. I mean, you can only, and I don't know. So tell me, you can only go to the VA hospital and actually see a person, right? But there's no office. Like, this is what always trips me out. Why is there not like a strip center office that's a VA office that you can go into and go, I'm having this issue. I need help with it. What are my options? Right? I can go get a payday loan like nobody's fucking business.
Tomorrow.
I can go buy CBD. I can go get fucking vapes. I can all this shit that does me no good. It's on every street corner. But the one thing that would help our veterans the most is open information centers. And I think the reason they don't do that is they're afraid at what kind of response they're going to get, right? Those things are going to be overwhelmed, as they should be if people have questions. And they're, again, it's that whole, they know there's a problem, but they don't want to be in front of people to talk about it. Sounds familiar? It's called a lot of politicians, right? There's issues. I just would rather not answer the question than tell you what I know about it or what we can do or how we can fix it. There's just no help, man. And that's right. That's the part that's frustrating because, like, our show is a perfect example. Al, you guys had great experiences, man, and that's awesome. Now, how do we clone those people to help everybody else? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing where you know it's working well. Let's take them and put them into places and have them be the guys that train everybody on how to do it to help people the right way and fix the problem instead of throwing more people at it. When you throw more people at it, you're getting more non-trained workforce and all that. And again, this is just my opinion and my viewpoint of it, looking at it from a process standpoint of what the process is now to go through and do it, right? You got to do everything online. So I'm going to submit it online, but then when I call the person to ask the question, they can't give me an answer. It's going to get reviewed by the case person. Okay, cool. Can I talk to someone in that office? Nah, we don't have the ability to transfer you there. Then you're like, cool, I'm just going to go to the regional office. Well, you can't go there because they won't talk to you. Like, geez. So basically,
now let me caveat what I said. I said I had a good experience with the VA, but to be honest, I did everything myself.
For sure, me too.
I did. I mean, I didn't go through a VSO. Like, I went and talked to one guy that they made me go talk to, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll take care of it." Like, I never heard from that guy again. I did everything myself.
For sure, but you know what I mean. Like, in general, it's like like take the good people that have given good service at the VA and turn those people into your Tiger team, right? Those are the people that go around to these other take a Burrow fight and put him in other places and go, this is how we fix it.
Got a great idea. Whoever trains Chick-fil-A, I need y'all to put a Tiger team together at a Chick-fil-A and go to the VA and Tiger team those people on customer service. You know what I mean? Like, you've got people who are calling with real life issues. Like, they serve this country. They fought for this country. Some of them didn't make it home. They've got real issues. The last thing they need is some asshole on the phone being a dickhead or not taking their shit serious. So Chick-fil-A, if you're listening to me,
or giving the famous answer. Here's the famous answer. I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know how to help you. And it's like, well, Jesus H, then why did I call the place, and I sent it to? It's crazy, man. Like, they could do better and we could fix it. But, it's not just about medical care. It's about education benefits. It's about health benefits.
It's everything.
So many things, but we're only focused on the medical care. But a lot of the other stuff that you can get help with resource-wise, right? Like, she doesn't know about half the resources she could probably use to help her out that are super easy to get because nobody's there to advocate for that. That's why I think, open some storefront offices, right? And staff it with vets. There's a way to get vets off the street, put them into a job, put vets into the VA office, and just let them sit at the desk. So when I go in to ask a question, they could tell me to fuck off and I'll take it because they're vets, but we're going to figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it can be fixed, it's crazy.
Yeah, we need to talk about this too next week. Shout out to First Watch. We'll be going there on, I won't say the day because we don't want to inundate them with all the fans, but that'll be a very good brunch that we have at First Watch there on 290 here in Houston, near Katy, Texas. Y'all ready to get into these sports?
Hell yeah.
All right, I think I can play the music now since she's not going to come back on, but man, that was fun as hell having her on. All right.
No, I can't hear.
Cleveland Patriots won. Okay. How do y'all?
I got you now. Say what now?
I just went over what the scores were. How did y'all feel about them games?
I got them right. That's how I feel about them.
I'm pissed off because I keep going against Matt to try to get one up. I'm like, I'll pick the opposite of Matt. Like, I was like, I thought LA was going to win, and I was like, or Seattle, and I was like, but I'll pick LA because Matt. So I'm going to let Matt pick the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna go with my gut, not against Matt.
Okay. So last week's record 2-0 for Matt. Al and I were 1-1, and Robert Rocha, who's doing a live show from San Antonio right now. I'm going to hop on as soon as we're done here. Rob, he keeps texting me and messaging me on the phone, but went 1-1. So we've got 2 weeks here. So we're going to put in some preliminary picks on this, and then we may be able to revisit it next week per the injury report. But it's kind of anticlimactic because Matt's already won, basically. But it'll be a fun game. What do y'all think about this game?
It's going to be boring.
Yeah, it's going to be all defense.
So you're basically saying what the
defense,
entire media is saying, and like all the memes on the internet right now are saying that, the two cities that care about it are Seattle and Foxborough, and nobody else in the country is ready for baseball to start. That's how I mean. I like Drake May, but I can't. The Patriots have never been my team. But here's what I'll say: I want the Patriots to win, and I want them to win big. And I think it's a travesty that Bill Belichick was left off of the NFL Hall of Fame this year.
Bro,
him, the greatest of all time coach, in anybody's opinion. I mean, I think he went to 9 Super Bowls. 8 rings, 2 I think as a coordinator, 6 with Brady, or I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's crazy, ain't it? And
and for him to not be on there because of fucking journalists, sports journalists at that, that's a whole different, my daughter's a journalist, but she has integrity. For the sports journalists to not vote this man as a first ballot Hall of Famer is all of what is wrong with collective bargaining in sports and collective bargaining, but the journalistic integrity that doesn't happen because of all the money that goes on in these sports.
I mean, look at the Pro Bowl roster.
Yeah. Shedeur Sanders.
How does he get to the Pro Bowl over Trevor Lawrence, dude? I
think he has 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions.
That'd be 7 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Yep. Trevor Lawrence passed for 4,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, top 3 MVP vote, and they're like, nah, you're not an all-pro, dog.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy.
I mean, here's what I'll tell you, though. I'm looking forward to watching Shedeur Sanders, and I will watch him play, flag football. It might be fun. He may do some good stuff on the skills challenge. I mean, he is Deion Sanders' son after all, so I'll watch.
I'm not watching him because he went to Colorado, and we know how I feel about that school. And the fans, and the fans at that school.
All right, so I've chosen the Patriots. Who did you choose, Matt?
Dude, it's up in the air for me, man. I want the Patriots to win. I just feel like Seattle's got that luck on their side this year, bro. Drake May is good. But here's what I'll tell you. I was pretty disappointed in the Patriots Broncos game. I felt like New England should have blew them out. They both live in places where it snows like that. So you can't tell me that the weather affected their game that much. It gets windy in both places and there's been blizzards. The fact that Denver's quarterback struggled the way he did is understandable, right? That's understandable. Drake May and the Patriots, they should have blew the doors off those guys. That's why I'm like, they're in the Super Bowl, but like, are they though? You know what I mean? Like that game, it should have gone way different. So that's why I feel like I think that the Seahawks, if I was to pick right now, I'd take the Seahawks.
I'm with Ty. I want to see the Patriots win, so I'll pick the Patriots.
All right, we'll revisit this next week just to to make sure
confirm our picks. Yeah,
you never know. The injury report, got to keep that in consideration whenever you're trying to talk about the sports.
I don't ever look at the injury report, bro.
I do, man. Okay, I know we're getting towards the end here, but shout out to Pat McAfee show. I love the way that you present sports, and I'm just not trying to glaze you right now. I love the way that you and Boston Connor and the Toxic Table and Ty Schmidt and all the guys in the back who I would love to sit in with sometime. I love the way you present your show, and I don't know why I did that. Oh yeah. Your coverage of the Super Bowl is what I'll be watching if it's on. I love the way you do it.
Definitely not watching the halftime show.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be watching to see what the hell. He said he's going to wear a dress, and I like Bad Bunny because of his interest in music and WWE, but like wanting to make political statements and all that kind of stuff. I may just call my daughters. Shout out to my daughters who text me before the show and wish me good luck and everything. I was talking to my daughter and Cadence and my daughter Trinity.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all
All
good.
right, go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, so next week we've got Daniel Archer, who is an Army Staff Sergeant. You see there in the center picture, turned into a commissioned officer as a major, became a pilot for Chinooks. And then one way or the other, I don't want to spoil the story, but he went from a staff sergeant to a major. And then in order to facilitate him getting into 160th SOAR, I think he went back to CW3 and flew Chinooks with 160th SOAR, which is the Special Operations Aviation Regiment located there at Fort Campbell. And now he is also doing Equine Valor Project. And, he's helping people get VA loans approved and all types of mortgages. So that should be a fun show. And then I just want to say, y'all know I'm a nerd about movies and things like that. I want to say this movie right here, Sinners, is it's been nominated for 16 Academy Awards, 16 Oscars, excuse me.
Have you seen it?
I didn't like it.
I did. I loved it. I absolutely.
I thought it was like a fucking vampire musical. I was like, this is gay shit. I don't even like it.
No, I loved the actor McConnell, the white guy on the left there. He's in a show called Rogue Heroes where he plays Patty Main, and his whole I really respect him as an actor. But I've highlighted over here, in my opinion, and I'm a 50-year-old movie connoisseur and I devour this shit. Sinners should win at least 13 or 12 out of the 16. There's a couple maybe.
Yeah, I just didn't care for it I didn't like the musical aspect. I didn't care for it as a musical. I didn't think it was that great a movie. but I just didn't. It wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, I have a few theories. I feel like when the white guy first comes into frame, I think that's when he's fallen out of heaven. So he's a demon and then creates the vampires. So there's all kinds of ways that culture is thrown in there, music, how it's enriched in the culture. And I grew up listening to that kind of music and the way it's presented. I grew up watching those type movies. Like Ryan Coogler's an excellent movie maker. So I just appreciate everything about it. And I think it's cool to see, we're going to space, and going to go around the moon next week. And we're going to watch some Oscars where Sinners is nominated for 16 Academy Awards. I mean, fucking America, right? Like this is where a fucking nerd like me can be happy about this shit.
Fucking shit movie.
Nerd.
I just wasn't a fan.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, hey, that's all I got, fellas.
Take us out, Matt. Get us out of here.
Yeah, well, for everybody that watched today, we appreciate it. As always, thank you for joining us. We love telling stories. We love our guests telling you a lot about them, and we love what you learn when you get to hear what they have to say. Thank you to Beth for coming on. We appreciate you being here. Can't wait to have you come on again and hear some crazy Al stories and some crazy politician stories. That's going to be hilarious. And, thank you to everybody that's out there that supports us. Share it. Make sure you go and like us on Spotify, like us on iTunes, like us wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. I think it's called following on Twitch. I don't know, but we'll get the Cobb genius to come in and teach you how to use that Twitch one day if we need to. But follow us wherever we're at. Share it with your friends. Share it with somebody that likes to hear good stories and see what it's about to overcome difficult things. And again, if you have a story to tell, we'd love to tell it. Send us an email. We've got a couple out there that we're trying to get scheduled right now. So if you've sent us something and you haven't heard back, it's coming. Just we're booked. We got to find the right days to send out to everybody so that we can do that. It's a good problem to have, but we do want to tell your story. And, reach out and talk to somebody. If you haven't talked to them in a while, it means that they need to hear from you. And with that, we'll see you guys next week.
I got nothing. Just, hey, like I say every week, reach out to somebody, check on somebody you care about, check on a battle buddy and a friend, make sure they're doing okay this week. Love y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to David Willis. He did the song you're hearing real quick for us. So before I do that, we'll just let that play us out. We'll appreciate you for doing that, Willis. I'm pretty exacting with things we let on the show, but maybe we can get Lip Biscuit to redo this in the 90s new metal way. Appreciate you. Until next time, we'll talk to you.
If you or someone you know is in crisis, contact the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255. Then press 1.